Chapter 435. I don't know where your confidence comes from. That's because they don't want to kill the wrong person. Maybe we can renegotiate. Tell me who the person behind the scenes is. I'll make Soo-jiran fall in love with you. Even if he doesn't love you, I'll let you have his child and let him stay by your side forever. Otherwise he'll kill you, and I'll take away everything you want and care about, Baya said coldly. She said coldly. The people outside had already broken the lock and were carrying the door. On the other side, and Ying's people were resisting, pushing the sofa, not letting them open the door, trying to give Baya time to negotiate. I don't believe you. What makes you think you can do it? Zhou Hailan didn't believe it at all. Baya stood up and looked down at her. Because I'm Baya. Impossible. Baya died a long time ago. Why do you think Gu Lingqing married me? You've seen his trust in me. Of course, believe it or not, it's up to you. Baya raised her hand and ordered coldly, let them in. Don't shoot. Their target is Zhou Hailan. If Zhou Hailan is dead, he'll leave. Zhou Hailan looked at Baya. Baya turned and walked towards the room inside. Stop, Zhou Hailan shouted. Baya stopped. Are you really Baya? Zhou Hailan continued to ask. Baya looked at her. 2 years ago, you entrusted me to take care of your son. You deliberately let your son break his own head, so that Gu Lingqing would misunderstand me. I'm actually very curious. How did you convince such a young child to do that? That child is really stupid. Only she, Baya, and Gu Lingqing knew about this. Xiao Xian knew. Gu Lingqing wouldn't say it, and Xiao Xian wouldn't say it either. She was really Baya. She believed it. The line of defense in his heart was broken. Soo-jiran is an orphan. It's very pitiful. His father was wrongly accused of being a spy. Soo-jiran and I have been secretly training on an isolated island since we were young. He is very capable, and his methods are extremely cruel. However, he is very good to us who grew up together. By the time he was 12, he was already our leader, and my direct supervisor had always been him. I only know that the person above him is Kai Qingyun. Now that Kai Qingyun is dead, and Soo-jiran has taken over the organization, I don't know who the person above him is. However, I know that the objective of that mission was a meticulously arranged massacre, Zhou Hailan said. Slaughter? Why? Baya asked. Little Tiger discovered the organization's name list by chance. He showed the name list to Dahu, and Dahu told his comrades about it. The two of them looked for their squad leader, and the squad leader looked for the platoon leader, and the platoon leader looked for Chief Kai. That's how we got this specially arranged mission, Zhou Hailan recalled. Then what's the matter with Gu Lingqing? What's the matter with Xia He? And what's the matter with the other people who died? Baya continued to ask. Gu Lingqing is Gu Tianheng's son. When he goes out to carry out the mission, his credibility is strong, and no one will doubt the authenticity of the mission. The people sent out can't all be people who know the secret, or else Little Tiger and the others will be suspicious. Therefore, some innocent and messy people were arranged to go in. This mission was a complete failure. If only Gu Lingqing and I survived, I would be easily suspected. Therefore Xia He, who knows nothing, survived unscathed. She will become the scapegoat, Zhou Hailan explained. Was your face also arranged in advance? Baya stared at her face with skin grafts. That was an accident. During the mission, Little Tiger found out something was wrong. She suspected that I was a spy, so she set the fire. Baya understood. Soo-jiran's mother is the former president's woman. Soo-jiran should be working for the president, right? The name of the organization is Formless? Formless is Shunyan's, so I am very sure that Soo-jiran is not really working for the president. However, his identity is a little special. I have been by his side for so many years, but I still can't figure it out. Perhaps he has never opened his heart to me, and he doesn't trust me. That's why he is following orders from above. Come and kill me, Zhou Hailan said gloomily. With a bang, the door was set on fire. Miss Wu, hurry up and leave, Zhang Xingyu reminded. Baya glanced at Zhou Hailan. She could die for Soo-jiran, but it was impossible for her to testify against Soo-jiran. It was already not easy for her to say what she knew. In fact, she was useless to them. But she sympathized with her. She remembered a song. The lyrics went like this. Women tend to be deeply in love. They are always trapped by love. In the end, they fall deeper and deeper. But for a woman, love is her soul. She can dedicate her whole life to the person she loves. Take her away. I will definitely protect her safety. I promised her. Baiya said in a low voice. Zhang Xingyu carried Zhou Hailan and they retreated into the room. Baiya listened to the rain like gunshots outside. Both sides were firing at each other, and neither side was letting the other go. But she knew that they would run out of bullets soon. If there was no backup, they would definitely lose. She walked to the window and made a phone call. Su Jiran picked up the call. What's up? Two things. Firstly, I kidnapped Xiao Xian to threaten Zhou Hailan. She didn't say anything. In her heart, you are more important than her son. To be exact, you are more important than herself. Secondly, she has already said the reason for the mission. She only knows that you are the leader of the organization. She won't give you up. She doesn't know the person behind you. Let her live. Whether she lives or dies is not something I can decide. Since she said the wrong thing, she should take responsibility for her words. It's not that I don't want to let her live. It's the people above me who want her dead. Su Jiran rejected. Let her go. I will tell you. Where is Baiya? Baiya said in a low voice. Su Jiran was silent. Where is she? Let her go. Baiya looked at the night outside quietly. Her eyes shone with a strange light. Baiya once told me about the two of you. She said that although the two of you weren't happy before your marriage, she still looked forward to the wedding night. Not only did she place an apple on the bedside table, she also placed a pair of boys' pants under the bedsheets. She felt that they would give birth to a boy and a girl. Unfortunately, you didn't go to the wedding night. She was very sad and angry. She smashed the glass. The shards, the apple and the boys' pants were all thrown into the bin. You found out and pressed her head into the bin. You said in disdain, "Do you think I will still sleep with a broken shoe like you? Giving birth to a boy and a girl is a fool's dream. I would rather have a girl than have a child with you. Because you used too much force, the porcelain shards cut her face. You just left in disdain." Chapter 436. Su Jiran was silent for 3 seconds. Those memories were real to him. Since she could tell him the details, he believed that she really knew where Baiya was. In the past, he didn't think that he was going overboard, and Baiya wouldn't complain in front of him. She was always cold and shouldered everything alone. At that time, he seemed to have fallen into a demon's trap. The more arrogant she was, the more indifferent she acted, the more he wanted her to suffer. Now, listening to Wu Nian's calm narration, he also felt that he was going overboard. No wonder Baiya would rather die than be with him. I will let her go. I hope you don't go back on your words. Otherwise, she won't be the only one who will die. You will die too. Su Jiran warned and hung up the phone. Not long after, the gunshots outside stopped, and everything became quiet. Su Jiran's men retreated from the room and took away the dead person. Baiya looked at Zhou Hailan. You're safe now. Since Su Jiran promised to let you go, he should be able to convince the people above him. He still has the ability to do so. Xiao Xian will be released later. You don't have to worry. Zhou Hailan was a little lonely. She murmured. You said that I love him, that I can sacrifice myself for him, but he still wants to kill me. You only said that you will tell him where Baiya is, and he stopped killing me. Baiya looked at the sadness on her face, and her eyes darkened. That was how love between 3 people was. When one of them was good to the other would be sad and worried. If one was trapped in the same mood for a long time and couldn't get out, it would lead to depression. Her mother was like that. Just let it go. You know that Su Jiran has never loved you. However, it's his business whether he loves you or not. It's your business to love him. Often, you feel sad because you think that others should love you if you love him. This kind of mentality in itself is a kind of sickness. No one will do anything for you. It's his right not to do anything for you. The most important thing is that you know what you're doing. Baiya said calmly. Have you never hoped for Gu Lingqing's love? Or you could say that you were lucky that those you liked you, and those you didn't like also liked you. A person's life. Zhou Hailan had lost too much blood. and his face was getting paler and paler. Everyone did things differently. Back then, when Gu Lingqing only had Zhou Hailan in his heart, she didn't say anything. She didn't even tell Gu Lingqing that they were in a relationship. She just took it all on her own, went abroad, and stopped contacting him. Perhaps she would have extravagant wishes and desires, but she would never force it, because it would be useless even if she forced it. Zhang Xingyu, send her to the hospital. She's bleeding too much, said Bai Ye. Her phone rang and she looked at it. It was Su Jiran. Will you tell Su Jiran that you're Bai Ye? Zhou Hailan asked worriedly. I won't. Don't forget what you promised me. I don't expect him to love me. He won't love me at all. I just want his child. And someone to accompany me from now on. Zhou Hailan said gloomily. What about Xiao Xian? How are you going to treat Xiao Xian now that you have Su Jiran's child? Bai Ye was suspicious. That's the child I don't want. They forced me to have it. Bai Ye suddenly thought of a question. Gu Lingqing's sperm was left when he raped me. From the beginning, was it all arranged by Su Jiran? I'm not sure about this. He didn't want to marry you at first. He only wanted you to suffer. Maybe it was arranged by General Kai. In fact, he was very afraid of Su Jiran, and he was also worried that Su Jiran would betray him. After all, his mother had a good relationship with the former president. He purposely asked Gu Lingqing to control him. Zhou Hailan guessed. Bai Ye had a creepy feeling, and her heart was cold. She wasn't afraid of ghosts or demons, but she was afraid of people, because people's minds were sometimes scarier than demons. Then what about my child? Who kidnapped him? Bai Ye asked. Even Su Jiran didn't know where your child went. It shouldn't be him, and it can't be General Kai. He must want you to keep the child by your side, and let Gu Lingqing and Su Jiran fight against each other. Moreover, he wouldn't send the child back when Gu Lingqing was depressed. I guess it should be Gu Lingqing. The people over there. They didn't want to cause unnecessary trouble for Gu Lingqing. Then, did you know that Gu Lingqing arranged for me to be strong in the beginning? Bai Ye looked at Zhou Hailan. Zhou Hailan shook her head. They only told me to give birth to Gu Lingqing's child, so that they could control Gu Lingqing in the future. However, I didn't want to have sex with him, so they arranged it later. Bai Ye's phone stopped ringing, and then it rang again. She answered the phone. I've already let her go. She should have told me, right? Su Jiran asked straightforwardly. She told me that she wanted to go to the South Pole, but I don't know where exactly, Bai Ye said calmly. When a person was used to telling lies, they would no longer feel guilty and blame themselves when they said it. They would also not feel that their conscience was being condemned, because they no longer had a conscience. Wu Nian, you tricked me. Su Jiran was furious. If you know her well enough, you should know that she really wants to go to the South Pole, Bai Ye said calmly. If you lie to me, I can take your lives at any time. Su Jiran hung up the phone. After listening to the phone call, Zhou Hailan left with Zhang Xingyu. When she went out, the mercenaries and the shadows were waiting for her. She said to the mercenaries, although you only completed one mission this time, it was very dangerous. I will transfer 3 million to your account, and we will work together again in the future. Let the child go now. Leave while Gu Lingqing is still trapped. She turned to look at the shadows. One of you go with them to bring the child back. The rest of you do as you please. The shadows looked at each other, and watched as Bai Ye left. Bai Ye got into the car and took out a recording pen from her bag. She recorded the gunfight and all the conversations just now. She listened to it over and over again. She didn't know if it was because she didn't sleep for the whole night, or because she had a cold, but her mind was dizzy. She couldn't think of anything. Everything seemed to be blank. She closed her eyes, leaned on the chair, and soon fell asleep. In the morning in City A, there were people who started to get busy at 6:30 a.m. They were making breakfast, those who got off the night shift, those who went to school early, those who went to work far away, and those who went out of the internet cafe. Her nose was filled with the fragrance of fried dough sticks, pancakes, and fruits. When she opened her eyes, she had a splitting headache, and her throat was particularly dry and painful. She opened the car door and got out. A gust of wind blew over, and it was a little cold. She gathered her clothes, and when she went out for breakfast, she saw many policemen coming, followed by armed policemen. She ordered a bowl of tofu soup and a basket of soup dumplings. Her phone rang. She saw that it was Gu Lingqing. She took a deep breath and answered. "Where are you?" Gu Lingqing asked coldly. Baya had a bad feeling. "We're having breakfast outside." Chapter 437. I'll be back after breakfast. I'll be back in about 2 hours. Baya said softly. Gu Lingqing hung up the phone without saying a word. She guessed that Ying's people had reported to Gu Lingqing that she had kidnapped Xiao Xian and lied to him. It was reasonable for him to be angry. She lowered her head to eat the soup dumplings, but found that she had no appetite at all. The restaurant was very small. 2 people sat across from her. "Do you know what happened?" A thin middle-aged man asked an old man with gray hair next to him. "I don't know. At first, I thought that someone was setting off firecrackers. I even scolded them. Isn't it crazy to set off firecrackers in the middle of the night? Then I found that the situation was not right. Look, the police are here today. Even the armed police are here. I heard that the woman is someone's lover, and then she was found out by the wife. Now she is being killed," the thin middle-aged man said. "I see. The woman is weak and doesn't work. She has a family doctor and a nanny. Her child goes to the best school. I heard that she is the boss of Gu's." A middle-aged woman next to him interrupted. "No way. The boss of Gu's doesn't have a wife." "But my son works in Gu's. My son said that. He also said that the woman's son should also be the boss of Gu's. They look very similar," the middle-aged woman said. "That's right. A woman doesn't work. She has no grudges with anyone. If she wanted to be killed, she could have been killed with a bullet. Why would there be a gunfight? I guess it's Boss Gu's enemy who came to seek revenge," the old man with gray hair said. Baya heard that the rumors on the street were getting more and more ridiculous. She was not in the mood to eat anymore. Rumors did not develop according to logic. Instead, they developed in the direction that people wanted or were interested in. The more they spread, the more ridiculous they became. She stood up. "Let me tell you, it's not like that." A short man came over and looked around. He said sneakily, "I live on the first floor. I came out at night and heard a man on the phone." Baya took a few pieces of paper and sat down again, pretending to eat breakfast in silence. "What call?" the skinny man urged. "In the beginning, that man said that she would live or die. It's not something I can decide. Since she said the wrong thing, she should be responsible for what she said. It's not that I don't want to let her go. It's the people above me who want her to die. It seemed that the woman had said something wrong, so she had to be punished. Chase them down." Baya paused. These words were indeed said by Su Jiran to her. "What happened next?" the person next to him urged. "What did you say afterwards?" "Where is she?" "I said I would let her go. I hope the person who called her doesn't go back on his words. Otherwise, not only will she die, but the person who called her will also die," the short man continued. "There's too much information in these words. I can't tell anything," the skinny man said. After the man hung up, he immediately called out and told them to stop shooting. He would tell Old Sheng about it. "So the woman we want to kill is Old Sheng," said the short man. The name Sheng Dongqing flashed through Baya's mind. She remembered that when she had dinner with Lung Ning before, Lung Ning had said that the people who could become the president were Shen Yiyan, Su Zheng, Lin Shutong, Zhou Qiweni, and Sheng Dongqing. Kai Qingyan was already a general. The people who could make Kai Qingyan do things must be of a higher rank, including Su Jiran. He even looked down on Lingqing. The person who could order him was no small matter. The residents were still talking after dinner. She got up and immediately got into the car. Then she made a call. "Lung Ning, I think I know who the person behind this is. But I'm not 100% sure yet." "Who is it?" Lung Ning asked. "Sheng Dongqing." Someone heard Su Jiran mention Old Sheng's name on the phone. "I want to know Sheng Dongqing's information," said Baya. "That's possible. Sheng Dongqing's grandfather, Sheng Li, used to be in the arms business abroad. He was good friends with Shen Yiyan's grandfather. Later, when Shen Yiyan's grandfather became the president, He asked him to return to China to develop his career. Sheng Dongqing invested in several projects in a country. However, Shen Yiyan's grandfather only became the president for 4 years. Then, Zhuo Qiuan's father became the president. Sheng Li also passed away that year. Sheng Dongqing's father had a good career. After all, there was a family developing. But at that time, the Gu family rose rapidly. Later, when Shen Yiyan's father became the president, he promoted Sheng Dongqing's father. Sheng Dongqing also entered politics. The Sheng family's business did well in a country. The Gu family's development went abroad. Coincidentally, there were many people who coveted the position of the president. But every 4 years, Shen Yiyan's father would be elected. Just 3 years ago, Sheng Dongqing's father died of a sudden illness. Sheng Dongqing took over his father's position and was now the cabinet finance minister. He was also a popular candidate for the president 2 years ago. Leng Ning explained. This might also explain why Su Jiaran worked for the former president. When Shen Yiyan's father was alive, Sheng Dongqing's father and Shen Yiyan's father were in a cooperative relationship. It was normal for Su Jiaran to work for the president, but they were still doing their own things. When Sheng Dongqing's father died, this relationship was not so solid. This relationship is not so solid, Baya analyzed. That's great. Then we don't have to worry about being stabbed in the back. No wonder the chief likes you. Leng Ning thanked him sincerely. Now we can only guess that Sheng Dongqing is the boss behind Su Jiaran. They have an organization working for them secretly to eliminate dissidents. The mission back then was to let Xiao Hu know the name list. Then all the people who knew the name list died. It still can't prove that they had anything to do with Xiao Yan's murder. Close. Shen Yiyan, Su Zhenglin Shutong, and Zhuo Qiuani are also possible murderers. But Sheng Dongqing is more likely, Baya reminded. I'll go and protect the people who heard the call, Leng Ning said vigilantly. It's useless. He didn't record it, so there's no evidence. Now only Su Jiaran's testimony is useful. We still need to provide evidence. Now I know why Shen Yiyan doesn't want to make it big. Shen Yiyan has just been the president for 2 years. His power hasn't stabilized yet. Once Sheng Dongqing falls, he will lose his wings. He and Sheng Dongqing are both enemies and friends. But, according to Shen Yiyan's shrewdness, before he stabilizes his position, he won't touch Sheng Dongqing, Baya said in a deep voice. That person can't be touched, and Su Jiaran won't help us. Now that we know who the mastermind is, we can't do anything. Leng Ning was disappointed. What will you do when a scepter is full of poisonous thorns? Baya asked. What do you mean? Baya's eyes were sharp, cold, and cruel. He said, pull them out one by one. It will be a safe scepter. Then it will be handed to Gu Lingqing. Chapter 438. When Baya returned to the villa, Gu Lingqing stood at the door and watched her get out of the car. She looked terrible and her lips were pursed tightly. Her face was gloomy, but there was no warmth in her. Baya knew that he was very angry now. She smiled and said gently, You've been waiting for me here. Why don't you sleep for a while? Have you had breakfast? I'll make it for you now. You kidnapped Xiao Xian, Gu Lingqing said coldly. Baya knew that In Ying's men would tell her. She didn't want others to know, but she and Leng Shuang were both under control. If she didn't let her mercenaries do it, Zhou Hailan would die, and she wouldn't know the truth. We know. The mastermind might be Sheng Dongqing. He has an organization and Su Jiaran is his subordinate. Xiao Hu and the others died because they accidentally found out the name list of the organization. That's why they were killed. Baya explained. Gu Lingqing looked at her coldly. His eyes were extremely sharp. He tightened his jaw and raised his voice. What I'm asking is, did you kidnap Xiao Xian? You don't understand. I know that you definitely didn't want me to kidnap Xiao Xian, so I didn't tell you the truth. Now that Zhou Hailan is safe, I'll get someone to bring Xiao Xian back to her side, Baya said softly with red eyes. Is it useful? Gu Lingqing said coldly. What? I told you to stay out of this. You don't understand. If you expose Zhou Hailan's identity, they won't let her go. Xiao Xian will definitely die if he stays with her. What's the point of knowing that it might be Sheng Dongqing? Gu Lingqing asked. His chest was heaving up and down violently. At least, we can be more vigilant against him. Moreover, now that we know the truth of that mission, the higher-ups will investigate further, and we can also protect Xiaohe. The mist in Bai Ye's eyes deepened. So I should thank you, right? Thank you for kidnapping my son, threatening my son's mother, and putting them in danger, Gu Lingqing said furiously. Bai Ye sniffled and tried hard to control her tears. Su Jiran has already agreed to let Zhou Hailan go, so she should be safe. You don't have to worry. If you're still worried, you can bring them back to live together. Su Jiran? Gu Lingqing was even more hateful. She held her face and asked fiercely, "What conditions did you negotiate with him? You won't be happy until you make it big, right?" Bai Ye stared at the hatred and disgust in his eyes. Actually, she did not care about sacrificing herself, as long as she could protect the people she loved, so she was not afraid in the face of death. But facing his accusation, her heart ached. I only said to tell him the news about Bai Ye, but I deliberately pointed in the direction of the South Pole, so he won't find out that I'm lying in a short time. Gu Lingqing let go of her face. What I feel sorry for is the former Bai Ye. I can't see her shadow in you anymore. You learn to lie without batting an eyelid, learn to commit crimes, learn to kill, learn to have no morals, etiquette, and shame. And Bai Ye doesn't know any of these. Bai Ye still could not hold back her tears. She wanted to cry because she felt wronged. But even if she felt wronged, she could not refute a word. She had read a real report from abroad before, saying that a dog and a Xiaobao's baby were very close, and the owner often let Xiaobao's baby and the dog stay together. One day, the owner came home and saw that the house was full of blood, and the dog ran out of the room covered in blood. The owner thought that the dog had hurt his son, so he took out his gun and killed the dog. When he returned to the room, he saw that the baby was safe and sound, and the python beside him was bitten to death. Only then did he know that the dog had fought with the python to protect the baby. Now, she felt that the dog had been sentenced to death because of the killing. So, Bai Ye asked, "Let's separate for a period of time to calm down. I want to think about it. The current you only makes me feel afraid," Gu Lingqing said coldly. Was she afraid? Bai Ye lowered her eyes. She had cried too much, and her vision was not clear. She did not say anything, nodded and turned around. Gu Lingqing clenched his fists, and the veins on the back of his hands were bulging. Looking at her thin and soft back, pain and pity flowed through his eyes, and his temples were throbbing. He turned around decisively, entered the room, and closed the door. Bai Ye stopped, turned around, and looked at the closed door. She cried out loud, and without support, she squatted on the ground, and her tears fell on the ground. "I don't understand, President Gu. Why did you treat Miss Wu like this? Even if Miss Wu was wrong, she did it for you, President Gu. She almost lost her life to protect Zhou Hailan, and Zhou Hailan wanted to kill her. Although she kidnapped the young master, he was unharmed, and it was just a temporary measure. She really did her best for you," Zhang Xingyu said on behalf of Bai Ye. "Does it have anything to do with you?" Gu Lingqing said coldly, and smashed the ashtray in his hand onto the ground. Zhang Xingyu's body trembled, and he puffed out his chest. "Even if I'm scolded by you, I still have to say it. To be honest, even if we knew it was related to Zhou Hailan, we wouldn't dare to kidnap the young master. Only Miss Wu dared to do it. She did it entirely because of you. If it wasn't for Miss Wu, Xiaohe would have been identified as a spy, and those brothers who died on missions were all wronged. You are too biased towards Zhou Hailan, and you are too unfair to Miss Wu. You only thought that Miss Zhou might die, but you didn't think that Xiaohe would die. In fact, Miss Wu almost died too. I looked down on Miss Wu, and she took the bullet for Zhou Hailan. Chief, you shouldn't have treated Miss Wu like this." "What else can I do if I don't treat her like this? She only wants to die now, and she won't listen to me no matter what I say," Gu Lingqing said angrily. He frowned, and a tear flowed down from his left eye. Zhang Xingyu paused, and he seemed to have understood something, but at the same time he didn't seem to understand anything. "Why does Miss Wu want to die? That shouldn't be the case. I think she loves you very much." Gu Lingqing turned his face away, and now he was regretting the answer he had given her. She had said that if she died, She would let him take care of their child and fulfill her dream. He had agreed. He had said that if he died, he would let her take care of their child and do the things that he couldn't do. She hadn't agreed. So now, she was risking her life, and she was crazy and determined. She didn't care about her own life anymore. She didn't know that if she died he wouldn't want to live. Get out, Gu Lingqing ordered. He really needed time to calm down. Then do we still need to protect Miss Wu? Zhang Xingyu asked. Chapter 439. Baiya cried for a long time, until she had no strength left. She stared at the ground in a daze for a while before turning to look at the villa. Gu Lingqing did not open the door at all. Was it useful for her to squat here? It was useless. She stood up. Her vision darkened as her blood sugar level was too low. She swayed a few times before squatting down and shaking her head. She tried her best to stay rational and not faint here. She took out a piece of chocolate from her bag and ate it, closing her eyes to cushion the impact. Her head was too dizzy. She could feel that her surroundings were spinning, and she was about to faint. She forced herself to stand up and make a call. Sheniyan, locate my phone and send someone to pick me up. Why are you looking for me? Sheniyan asked suspiciously. I'll tell you when we meet. Baiya hung up the phone and walked forward. She kept walking until she finally walked out of Gu Lingqing's villa. Her vision was getting darker, and she was about to lose her sight. She held onto a tree and remembered that there was a chair nearby. She clenched her fists and walked towards the chair. She could not hold on any longer and fainted. After a long time, she opened her eyes. The sky was gray and it seemed to be 6 p.m. She sat up and looked around. She was in an unfamiliar room. She remembered calling Sheniyan before she fainted. Was it Sheniyan who brought her here? Or was it Gu Lingqing? Thinking of Gu Lingqing, her heart skipped a beat. She got up from the bed and opened the door. She saw Sheniyan sitting on the sofa reading the newspaper. He was wearing a black vest, looking noble and elegant with a noble temperament. His every movement showed the demeanor of royalty. As he flipped through the newspaper, he seemed to have noticed her existence. He looked at her quietly and curled the corner of his lips. His eyes were calm like a bottomless ancient lake. Baiya looked at Sheniyan too. She knew that Sheniyan was a ruthless and decisive person. His methods were not inferior to anyone else's, and he had a strong grasp of things. That was why he could stand out from so many candidates. Not many people had this kind of courage. Breakfast will be served in 15 minutes. Sit. Sheniyan glanced at the seat opposite him. Breakfast? So it was already morning. She had been asleep for a long time. She sat down opposite Sheniyan and looked down without saying a word. Sheniyan chuckled and put down the newspaper. The first time I saw you, I thought you were pretty good. A woman who could make the cold and aloof Gu Lingqing fall head over heels for you must have a high EQ. If I had a high EQ, I wouldn't have been chased out and needed your help, Baiya said coldly. Sheniyan frowned slightly. That shouldn't be the case. After what you did, Xiaohe is innocent. There's nothing sinister to him. Anyway, Su Jiran should listen to you. Gu Lingqing has no reason to chase you out. Aren't you afraid? Baiya said coldly. Sheniyan leaned against the sofa with interest. What should I be afraid of? After Lu Shuang's incident was exposed, someone immediately set up Gu Lingqing. You should be able to guess why. Baiya narrowed her eyes and stared at Sheniyan. You suspect that I did it? I still need Gu Lingqing to balance the relationship with the others. There's no need to kill before anything happens, Sheniyan said coldly. Baiya twitched the corner of her mouth. I didn't suspect you. I just felt that someone coveted your position, and that's why they started killing in advance. Who do you think it is? Don't tell me that you think it's Sheng Dongcheng. Sheniyan said in a low voice. I'm not sure whether it's him or not. But there's one thing. When Xiaohe was arrested after he came back, Su Jiran warned me that he would soon regret following Gu Lingqing. From his words, I think he should know about the plot against Xiaohe. Of course, I don't rule out that Su Jiran is well informed. I think it's more likely that he's the mastermind. Sheniyan pursed her lips and didn't say anything. Baiya couldn't read the message from his expressionless face. She raised her eyebrows. If Sheng Dongcheng told you about it in advance, then I'm a sheep in a tiger's mouth. If Sheng Dongcheng didn't tell you about it, then his wild ambition is obvious. Baiye, you should understand that there are no eternal friends or enemies in this world. Tell me, why did you come to me this time? You also said that there are no eternal friends or enemies in this world, but there are eternal interests. I help you clear the obstacles, and you ensure the safety of the people I care about. Shen Yiyan looked at Baiye with deep eyes and tapped her legs with her fingers. She studied psychology. She knew that this movement meant that he was making a difficult choice. She was analyzing the pros and cons in an orderly manner in her mind. Suddenly, he stopped and sat up straight. He stared at Baiye and asked, "What do you want me to do?" "Give me a position that can attract their attention. For example, the cabinet." Baiye said lightly, "The cabinet is a place for women. It's indeed suitable for you. But my wife has such a powerful background. She's always living in the cracks. Can you do it?" Shen Yiyan was doubtful. "Letting me in is your business. The rest is my business. You don't want to be controlled by others forever, do you?" Baiye said firmly. "I have another condition. Tell me, where is Lu Shuang?" Shen Yiyan asked. "She thinks that I betrayed her. Do you think she'll tell me? Now that she has disappeared completely, it's a good thing for her. She won't be in danger anymore. It's also a good thing for you. You won't have anything to hold against you anymore," Baiye said with dim eyes. She might not have the chance to see her old friend again in her lifetime. Shen Yiyan's expression was unclear. She stood up and said, "Have breakfast first. It's not a problem to arrange for you to enter the cabinet. But you're pregnant. Do you want to reconsider?" "What?" Baiye paused and looked at Shen Yiyan in surprise. "Don't you know that you're pregnant?" Shen Yiyan asked back. Baiye was a little absent-minded. She was actually pregnant. The doctor said that her period of delivery was from the 5th to the 10th. How could it be so soon? Could it be when she was in country X last time? Look at your reaction. You really don't know. I was thinking that if Gu Lingqing knew that you're pregnant, he wouldn't kick you out. It turns out that you don't know. Do you want to discuss with him before making a decision? Shen Yiyan asked. "There's no need. I'll make my own decisions. You can arrange it. I have no problem," Baiye said firmly. "Okay, wait for my notice. It'll take about a week. There's still something that needs your cooperation," Shen Yiyan said. Baiye held her stomach, her thoughts drifting. Chapter 440. Moreover, she had taken medicine for a cold and fever a few days ago, so she might not be able to keep this child. Thinking that she could not keep their child again, a kind of sadness flowed through her heart. Perhaps it was God's will. However, that was not right either. She had been lying in the hospital for a week, and the doctor did not say that she was pregnant. When she came out of the hospital, she and Gu Lingqing had only been together for a few days, so it was too early to say that she was pregnant. After she went out later, she had to first go to the hospital to find out what was going on. Baiye stayed at Shen Yiyan's place to eat breakfast. From time to time, he would look at her, and an indiscernible expression flowed through his eyes. He seemed to want to say something but was hesitant, as if it was taboo. In the end, he did not say anything and lowered his head to eat. Although Baiye did not look at him, she saw all of his actions. He did not speak, and she did not ask. After all, the relationship between her and Shen Yiyan was very subtle. He saved her, and she was a friend of the woman he loved. Together, they hurt the woman they both loved. However, she should cooperate with him for personal reasons. After breakfast, Baiye looked at Shen Yiyan and said, "If Su Jieran comes to ask about my identity again, I will confess that I am your person. I hope you will not expose me. We haven't even started, and you already want to sow discord between me and Sheng Dongcheng." Shen Yiyan leaned lazily on the chair and looked at him with drooping eyes. "Don't you want to give Sheng Dongcheng a warning? Besides, you can just deny it with Sheng Dongxing. Su Jieran is not stupid. He is the person who is stuck between you and Sheng Dongcheng. He understands some things that should be said and some things that should not be said. Besides, the conflict between him and Gu Lingqing is much more than the conflict between him and you. What you need to consider is not the problem of trust, but the problem of your own interests. Soo-jae-ron is so smart that he will not do something that harms others without benefiting himself. Baye confirmed. I don't think I should have given you a position in the cabinet. I should have given you a position as a diplomat. Your eloquence, thinking, and keen judgment are all wasted. Baye suddenly thought of the words of the great master Gufa. He said that she was an eloquent person. A person who achieved great results by relying on words. However, she also stood on the path of killing. It seemed like he was right. He also said that she was destined to kill, but if she didn't deal with it cleanly, she would be the one to disappear. Therefore, when it came to fortune-telling, the benevolent saw benevolence and the wise saw wisdom. Baye smiled. There's no contradiction between being a diplomat and working in the cabinet. Perhaps giving him the identity of a diplomat to work in the cabinet wouldn't be too abrupt, don't you think? Shun-yen tapped on the table and smiled. Maybe I can arrange it. Call me when you've arranged it. I should go too. Baye nodded and turned around. Shun-yen stood up and furrowed her brows. You really don't know Lu Shuang's current address? Baye stopped walking and looked at the big tree outside. The sunlight shone through the gaps between the leaves, forming mottled spots of light that danced in the wind on the ground. One flower, one world, one tree, one life. Everyone had their own fate. If you're fated to meet her, you'll meet her one day. If you're not fated to meet her, you won't be able to change anything even if you insist. Baye said meaningfully. Shun-yen looked at Baye's back. Based on his current condition, if he found her, he would kill her. Just wait for 2 more years, 2 more years. Baye walked out of Shun-yen's place. His side courtyard was very secluded. It was surrounded by trees, and there were very few people around. The air was filled with the fragrance of flowers and soil. Taking a deep breath would make one feel relaxed and happy. She didn't forget that she had to go to the hospital for a re-examination. However, wouldn't Ying's men follow her? Baye looked around subconsciously and found no one. Before she walked out of the door, a car stopped in front of her. The driver got out, opened the back seat and said respectfully, Sir asked me to send you away. Thank you. Baye got into the car. Please send me to the hospital. She did a checkup. Her HCG was very high, but her progesterone was normal. She was not pregnant. This might be because she had taken a lot of hormone drugs in the past 2 years, causing the data to be disordered. Baye came out of the hospital and took a taxi to the International Hotel in City A. She checked into a room and lay on the bed, staring at the ceiling in a daze. She still had to go to Gu Lingqing's place to move her luggage out. She had to bring Xiaoqing out too. After all, it was her dog. However, after bringing it out, she would be very busy in the future and might not be able to take care of it in the future. This was also a problem. There was a knock on the door. She got up, walked to the door and looked through the peephole. It was Soo-jae-ron. He would come to find her. She had expected it. She should face it. Baye opened the door. Soo-jae-ron walked into her room. Baye closed the door calmly. Tell me everything you know. Soo-jae-ron went straight to the point. Do you want to drink? Baye walked to the wine cabinet, took out a bottle of red wine from it, and opened it with a bottle opener. Soo-jae-ron frowned, took the red wine bottle from her hand, took 2 goblets, poured the wine, and handed them to her. I want to know everything you know about Baye. She is still alive, right? My experiment failed. How did she survive? Baye took the wine that Soo-jae-ron handed over, took a sip, and said, Shun-yen sent Baye out. He kidnapped the doctor in your lab and hired foreign experts, so she was saved. Now Baye is gone and so is Lu Shuang. What about you? What role did you play in this? Soo-jae-ron narrowed his eyes. Baye curled her lips. I am Shun-yen's man. Why do you think he asked me to come? Impossible. You exposed the matter this time. If the matter is exposed, it will only benefit Gu Lingqing. It will not benefit anyone else. Soo-jae-ron didn't believe it. He realized that Baye was lying to him. His eyes sharpened, and a murderous look burst out of his eyes. Baye took another sip of wine, held it in her mouth, and swallowed it slowly. She leaned against the bar, shook the wine glass and said calmly, Why is it impossible? After the matter of Shen Yiyan and Lu Shuang was suspected, what did Sheng Dongqing do? You hid it from Shen Yiyan and set up Gu Lingqing. You deliberately told Leng Ning about Xia He's whereabouts, so that you could kill Gu Lingqing. Why did he kill Gu Lingqing without Shen Yiyan's consent? Because he is also a president. I did this to suppress Sheng Dongqing, and I could use Gu Lingqing to succeed. What's wrong with this? It won't affect the relationship between Shen Yiyan and Sheng Dongqing. You are wrong. The one who set up Gu Lingqing was not Sheng Dongqing, but Su Zheng. Su Jiran said in a low voice. Baiya looked at Su Jiran quietly, and a strange emotion flashed through her eyes. In the world, there were no eternal friends, and no eternal enemies. Chapter 441. Su Jiran thought that Baiya didn't believe him, so he explained. When Gu Lingqing went to Steven Island, Su Zheng also sent someone there, and saw Xia He. After Xia He left the island, her whereabouts were all under Su Zheng's control. Su Zheng thought that Gu Lingqing deliberately let Xia He go. Once he knew that Xia He was captured, he would go to rescue her. He didn't know that this mission was fake. Baiya was suspicious and frowned. What role do you play in it? Are you working for Shen Yiyan, Sheng Dongqing, or Su Zheng? You seem to know a lot. Also, who asked you to study the virus? Or have you established your own organization? What is your purpose? What is it? Su Jiran drank all the wine in the glass and put it down. What is my purpose? Who am I working for? These are not important. I just want to know where Baiya is. What else do you know about her? Tell me where she might be in the South Pole. Baiya pursed her lips and didn't say anything. Or are you Baiya? Su Jiran said suspiciously, looking at her. Baiya's heart skipped a beat. The information that Su Jiran was on an extremely dangerous mission flashed through her mind. If Su Jiran knew that she was Baiya, things would develop in a direction that she didn't want. There are two things that you can be sure that I'm not Baiya if I tell you. Baiya also drank up the red wine and put it on the bar. She looked at Su Jiran and didn't avoid his eyes. Then she said, I arranged for Lu Shuang to leave. I asked Alan for help. You guys are best friends. It's normal for you to do this, Su Jiran probed. I also arranged for Lu Shuang's parents to go with her, but I secretly told their whereabouts to Shen Yiyan. As a result, Baiya paused, and his eyes darkened. He continued. Someone from Shen Yiyan's side leaked the news. Someone went to assassinate Lu Shuang, and killed Lu Shuang's mother by mistake. Don't tell me that it was Sheng Dongqing who assassinated Lu Shuang? If Sheng Dongqing wanted to assassinate you, he wouldn't have waited until now. Are you really not Baiya? Su Jiran stared at her. If I were Baiya, would Gu Lingqing kick me out? Do you want me to tell you what he said? Baiya twitched the corner of her mouth. A trace of pain flashed through her eyes, but it soon gathered into her deep eyes. What did he say? Su Jiran followed her words and said. Baiya raised her eyebrows and said calmly. He said that I can't see Baiya's shadow in you. You lie, commit crimes, kill without batting an eyelid. You have no morals, etiquette, or shame. And Baiya doesn't do any of these. Then he kicked me out and took my clothes. I didn't even have time to take my clothes. Su Jiran sneered. I've said it before. You are just a substitute for Baiya. He can't really love you. All he can see is your shortcomings. Shen Yiyan asked me to appear. His purpose is to make me a substitute for Gu Lingqing. If I can't continue with my mission, he will probably arrange another mission for me. Moreover, this time I was following his orders. Even if I succeeded, it's time for me to leave, Baiya said. She walked towards Su Jiran and put her hand on his waist. Su Jiran looked down at her. Baiya smiled charmingly. What you said last time, to let me stay by your side. Does it still count? Su Jiran held her hand. You're a cunning fox. You lie all day long. No one can tell whether you're telling the truth or not. If I let you stay by my side, I'm afraid that you'll eat me up. He shook off her hand with a little too much strength. Baiya followed his force and sat on the chair. She lifted her chin and looked at him coldly. Su Jiran, you're really a strange person. Su Jiran adjusted his clothes. It doesn't matter if I'm strange. It has nothing to do with you. I'm also a little curious. Why didn't you let me kill Zhou Hailan? You don't have to protect her. Baya leaned against the chair and crossed her right leg on her left knee. If you leave some leeway for others, you won't end up in a hopeless situation. At least there's a chance to turn around. Who is Zhou Hailan? She's Gu Lingqing's ex-girlfriend, one of the most important women in his life, one of the mothers of his children. One day, Baya comes back. Who will help me fight against her? Don't tell me. There was a murderous look in Baya's eyes. You want me to expose my nature as a hunter and scare Gu Lingqing away? Wu Nian, don't blame me for not reminding you. Sheng Dongcheng is not someone to be trifled with. Don't be a charging sheep. You won't be able to take advantage of him and get killed first. Su Jiran said coldly. Baya chuckled. She picked up the bag on the bar counter and took out the recording pen. She threw it to Su Jiran. Su Jiran asked, "What's this?" "I can't kill Sheng Dongcheng, but this recording can kill you easily." Baya smiled and looked at him confidently. Su Jiran frowned. "Wu Nian, what do you want?" "I want you to die," Wu Nian said indifferently and paused for a moment. A murderous look shot out from Su Jiran's eyes. "That doesn't mean anything to me." Wu Nian continued. "I just hope that we can be on the same side in the future and fight against the enemy together. Some things can't be certain. It's very possible that in 10 years, the president will be you or me." "You're very ambitious," Su Jiran judged. Wu Nian stood up. "The same goes for you. You're prettier than Baya, but you're more ruthless than her. You're not a good man." Su Jiran put the recording pen on the bar counter. There was no point in taking it away. He believed that Baya had a backup. "Let's talk in the future." Wu Nian watched as Su Jiran left the room and disappeared from her sight. Her tense nerves relaxed, and she sat down on the chair. When they were young, parents would teach their children not to lie. Children who lie will be eaten by wolves. When they grew up, they realized that the world was full of lies. Sales representatives, actors, politicians, interpersonal relationships, husband and wife, how to conduct oneself, and how to be a person. Now she was full of lies. Sooner or later, these lies would all turn into knives and stab at her, consigning her to eternal damnation. Her phone rang. Baya came back to her senses and saw that it was Alan. She smiled and said, "Hello. I'm at the airport now. Are you free to come out for dinner tonight? My grandmother really wants to see you," Alan said gently. "Come to the International Hotel in the city. How many people are there? I'll book a room for you." Baya stood up and went to the front desk. "There's no need. It's too troublesome." Chapter 442. Baya froze on the spot. She remembered that he had the third eye, so it would be very easy for him to find her. Was he asking her to go back? Gu Lingqing walked out of the elevator and handed her the bag in her hand. "I've packed all your things in here. Little White is in here too. The hotel doesn't allow you to keep it, so you better not let anyone find out." Baya's heart sank. It turned out that she was here to return her things. I really don't have time to take care of Little White. Please take care of him for a while." Gu Lingqing stared at her steadily. The corners of his mouth twitched as he said meaningfully, "Are you very busy?" "Yeah," Baya replied. Gu Lingqing opened the bag and carried the quiet Little White up. Little White barked at Baya. Baya patted the puppy's head. The puppy was so comfortable that it whimpered and licked Baya's hand. The corners of Baya's mouth curled up slightly. Gu Lingqing looked down at her, and his eyes unconsciously softened a little. But in the end he steeled his heart, turned around, and pressed the button for the elevator to go down. Baya looked at his reflection in the elevator. Their vision collided with each other on the metal surface of the elevator. Baya lowered her eyes, turned around and walked back to the room. She took out the clothes and documents from the bag, and sat on the bed in a daze for a while. Then, she remembered that she had something to do and looked at her phone. It was still on. She put the phone to her ear and asked, "Alan, are you still there?" "Yeah," Alan replied. "I'm sorry, I bumped into Gu Lingqing suddenly and just talked for a while. I'm sorry, you guys are still at the airport, right? I'll come and pick you up." Baya stood up. "No need, we're already in the car. We'll go to your hotel later." Alan said gently. He was a person with a high EQ. He usually wouldn't ask about things that would make others feel awkward. So, even if he knew that her relationship with Gu Lingqing wasn't good, he wouldn't bring it up. Alright, the few of you. It will take about an hour to get here from the airport. Let's have lunch together at noon, and I will show you around. Baya smiled. I've already booked a room. Let's talk when you arrive. Alan hung up the phone. The weather was getting colder and colder. She didn't have many clothes, and she would have to deal with the politicians and noblewomen soon. She had less than an hour to go to the shopping mall next door, and bought 3 sets of clothes, and a set of cosmetics. When she returned to the hotel, she received a call from Alan. She put on some simple makeup and went downstairs to ask around. Alan and the others were already checking in. There were 6 of them. She knew Alan and Alan's grandmother. There was also an old man. She guessed that he was Mr. Tang. In addition to them, there were 2 young girls. One of them scared her because she looked like her mother. She looked like Bai Bing, so that girl was 60% similar to her in the past. She remembered that Alan's grandmother had said that her grandmother only had her mother as a child. Was there a mistake? Xiaonian. Alan shouted. Baya came back to her senses. Hello, my name is Wu Nian. I am Alan's friend. The old man looked at Baya. Baya let him look at her. She knew that he was thinking about whether she looked like his wife or not. Alan smiled and said, Let me introduce you. This is Mr. Tang. This is Qiao Na. That is Qiao Na's daughter. The one over there, who looks like your mother, is your grandmother's sister's child. No wonder. Baya understood. After you put away your luggage, I will wait for you in the hall. We will go out for lunch later. Okay, Alan, you chat with Xiaonian. We will go up and come down. Alan's grandmother said. Alan stayed to accompany Baya. Baya saw that there were 6 of them. An ordinary car could not fit them, and the SUV 7 was too crowded. She called Sheniyan. I am now at the International Hotel in a city. Lend me a car. Alan smiled and grabbed Baya's phone. Sorry, wrong number. What's wrong? I don't have a car. I used the money to buy a ship. Baya explained. I have a car. It's parked outside. Did you forget? I said before that I have investments here. The company I invested in has sent a car. Alan explained. Right, how much did you help me pay for the mercenaries? Baya asked. Not much. Don't worry about it. For me, that money is just for talking to you for a few minutes. Alan smiled. How much is it? Alan put his arm around her shoulders and pulled her into his arms. You saved me twice. Otherwise, I would have died a long time ago. Don't let me owe you so much, okay? But you have helped me a lot too. Alan smiled. For me, it's just a small effort. Alright, you thank me. When will you stop thanking me? Don't forget that you promised to cook for me. I will always remember that. Got it. One more thing. Is Mr. Tang going to do a paternity test? Baya turned around and looked at him. She took the opportunity to leave his embrace without leaving a trace. Grandpa Tang definitely wants to be safe. But you told me that you have had plastic surgery and bone marrow change. Can you do a paternity test? Well, I am ovulating these days. As long as the eggs are taken out, we can do a paternity test. Baya nodded. She also thought it was better to do a paternity test. Will it be dangerous for you? Alan was worried. Baya shook her head. No. Then should I make the arrangements tomorrow? Alan asked for her opinion. Baya nodded. Okay. With a ding, the elevator door opened. Baya heard Alan's grandmother say to Mr. Tang in the dialect of country A, Beautiful, right? I like this girl very much. Maybe we can become in-laws. It will also fulfill my wish for so many years. Yes. Whatever you say is right. Mr. Tang said good-naturedly. Baya nodded to them. Let's go. Alan's car was a Mercedes-Benz Spender limousine. It was very spacious and had a driver. Master, let's go to the hotel in a city, Baya said. She looked at Alan and asked, The taste in a city is sweet. I don't know if there is anyone here who can't eat sweets. We are all fine with it. However, Mr. Tang has gout. Order a few dishes on the list for him. Alan's grandmother interrupted. Okay. Baya replied. Sister, are you Alan's girlfriend? She is so beautiful. The girl who looked like her mother said. Aling, Alan introduced her to Baya and looked at Aling. Haven't you always wanted to find a boyfriend from country, eh? You have to work hard this time. Chapter 443. Baya looked at Aling and smiled. When she was studying psychology in America, she had studied people's personalities. Most of the time, the formation of a person's personality was related to the environment. Children from happy families were usually more cheerful, while children from unhappy families were more or less gloomy. However, there were many kinds of happy families, so there would be differences in personality. At first glance, Aling could tell that she was living in a doted family. She was lively, cute, sunny, and unrestrained. If her mother hadn't gone missing, would she have such an optimistic personality? This kind of personality would be more likable. Unlike her, Baya thought of Gu Lingqing, and her eyes dimmed a little. Do you know any good men that you can introduce to Aling? Alan's grandmother asked. Baya thought for a while and pointed at Alan. He's the best man I've ever met. Aling chuckled. You can't show off your love like this. Alan is a good man, but he doesn't like me. It's not that he doesn't like you. We're not compatible, Alan corrected. Pfft, you don't have to explain. An explanation is just a cover-up. However, I don't care. Aling licked her tongue again. She likes bad guys. Another girl pointed at Aling and said. Aling got along well with her. You're the one who likes bad guys. Nonsense. Baya looked at them and smiled. She liked the harmonious feeling between them. It was full of joy and ease, like the feeling of the warm sun on a winter afternoon. They're all liars, Alan said to Baya. Pretty good, Baya said softly. The car arrived at the entrance of a city hotel. Baya got out of the car. She had booked a private room in advance, and they followed the receptionist. Alan, I know a rather powerful fortune teller. Do you want to read his fortune? This fortune teller has a rather strange personality. He sees 3 people every day, and he doesn't charge. It all depends on his mood. Baya recommended him to Alan. Sure, that sounds interesting, but can he be counted as mine? I'm English. Baya shrugged. How would you know if you don't try? The scenery nearby is also good. If I can't tell my fortune, I'll just take it as sightseeing. Sure. Alan looked at Baya lovingly. His eyes were filled with love. Alan's grandmother glanced at Alan and hit Alan's hand. Alan looked at his grandmother. What's wrong? Let's go watch a movie together tonight. I want to watch a movie, Grandma said with a smile. Recently, there's a movie with very high ratings. I went to watch it. It's not bad. I've booked the tickets now. Let's go watch it together tonight. Baya recommended. Good. Grandma beamed with joy. They sat down in the private room. Baya ordered a table full of dishes. In the middle of the meal, Aling went out for a walk and came back. She whispered something into another girl's ear. Michelle, these two are good friends. They used to hang out together. Alan introduced them to Bai Shui. What are you talking about? Speak louder. Let me listen and have some fun, Alan's grandmother said. Over there. There are 2 handsome men over there. One is colder, like a model on the cover of a magazine. The other is more charming, with a special aura. Do you want to go take a look? Aling said, pointing outside. Their personalities were really warm and generous. Are they as good-looking as Alan? Michelle asked. Pretty much, Aling said, pulling Michelle along. Alan's curiosity was probably getting the better of him. He also pulled Baya to take a look. They walked down a long corridor and made 2 turns. Aling stretched her neck and looked through the window on the door. Aren't they handsome? Baya glanced at them. Her expression instantly changed. Gu Lingqing and Su Jiran. Aling looks so much like her. Su Jiran would definitely provoke Aling. It would be easy for him to find out her real identity. Alan, pull them back. Hurry, don't let them find out. Alan looked at Baya confused. It's Gu Lingqing and Su Jiran, Baya explained. Alan understood. He pulled their hands and led them away. It's time to go back for dinner. Baya followed behind Alan. She looked back and glanced at Gu Lingqing's private room. Why were he and Su Jiran here? The more she thought about it, the more uneasy she felt. She looked at Ling, who was still looking outside the door. Alan, I have something to tell you. Okay. Alan stood up first. Baya followed him out of the private room and into the empty room next door. You're worried that Ling will be found out, and they'll find out about your previous identity through Ling? Alan told Baya what she was worried about. Baya nodded. We can't let Su Jiran find out. After the DNA test tomorrow, Grandpa Tang will go back to China. Ling will go back with him. If Su Jiran finds out before that, I'll ask them not to tell anyone about you, Alan said. Baya nodded. Hopefully, they wouldn't have the chance to see each other. They returned to the private room and saw that Ling had disappeared. Where's Ling? Alan asked. That girl. She said she went to get the phone numbers of those two handsome men. She's really ready to marry back to a country, Alan's grandmother said helplessly. Alan and Baya looked at each other and they rushed out. Ling was already at the door of Gu Lingqing's private room. Ling, don't go in, Alan shouted. Ling pushed the door open. Baya's heart skipped a beat. This time it's over. She stopped on the spot. Ling retreated and asked Alan, where are they? I saw them here just now. Baya's dead heart came back to life. I'll go out and look for them. They should still be at the door and haven't gone far. Ling ran towards the door. Alan grabbed her waist and stopped her. Girl, be more reserved. This is a country, not England. They might have girlfriends already. There are also many handsome men here. You've just arrived and you've already met two of them. If you ask for their phone numbers, you'll probably get a few hundred phone numbers in a day. It's too much for you to find a boyfriend. Ling scratched her head. You're right. I'm too excited. I'll wait a little longer. Ling returned to the private room with a smile. Do they know about me and Mr. Tang? Baya asked Alan. I don't know. Mr. Tang is a very conservative person. He won't tell his children unless he's absolutely sure, Alan said with certainty. Even if you're sure, it's better not to say it. Baya was worried. About this, you can talk to Mr. Tang when the results of the DNA test are out. He should respect your opinion. After all, he always felt that he owed your grandmother and mother. Baya nodded. We'll talk about it when the DNA test results are out tomorrow. Chapter 444. Baya sat in the VIP lounge of the private hospital, waiting for the test results. Yesterday, when she took them out to play, Ling had been complaining and regretting that she didn't meet the two handsome guys again. She was really worried. After the test results came out today, Mr. Tang would go back to England. Alan looked at Baya and said, Don't worry, I've already told them. My grandmother and her people won't say a word. Baya nodded and said, Thank you. I needed your help when I was abroad, and I still need your help now. You don't have to say thank you. I only care about my food. Baya chuckled and said, I have a cruise ship with a kitchen. I'll invite you to my cruise ship. Won't your grandmother get seasick? Yes, she probably won't, Alan said with a smile. The doctor came out with the report. Dr. Chin, how is it? Alan asked. Mr. Tang stood up nervously and came to the doctor. The doctor handed the report to Alan and said with a smile, 85% of Miss Wu's chromosomes match with Mr. Tang's. Mr. Tang grabbed the report and looked at the result. He smiled in surprise and looked at Baya. Baya stood up calmly. Mr. Tang rushed over and hugged Baya. I finally found you. I didn't believe it when I saw you yesterday. I'm so happy that I finally found you. Baya patted Mr. Tang's back calmly. Let's go back to England with me. I'll make it up to you, Mr. Tang said, holding Baya's hand. Baya shook her head. Mr. Tang's eyes dimmed and he said worriedly, Why? You don't want to recognize me? No, I'm very happy to find my own family. I know that I have a grandfather, and he has been looking for my mother. For me, it's very important. That was enough. I hope that no one will know about our relationship. That will cause unnecessary trouble, Baya explained gently. Why? You're the granddaughter of the Tang family now. I couldn't take good care of you when your mother was wandering outside. Now that I've finally found you, I'll definitely make it up to you. What do you want? I will give them all to you, Mr. Tang said sincerely. He was afraid that Baiyu wouldn't recognize him. That's the problem. Whatever you give me, your other children and grandchildren will get less, but I don't care about that. I recognize you as my grandfather, and you know that I'm your granddaughter who has been wandering outside. That's good. I'll call you every year and give you a call to give you a lot of money. I said hello to you. This isn't enough. This isn't enough. Lil Wan already has half of everything. You're her only daughter's child and Lil Wan's only heir. This is what you deserve, Mr. Tang said with reddened eyes. Baiyu had heard from Alan's grandmother that Mr. Tang had always felt guilty towards his first wife because he had married another woman. She had even said that if he hadn't been good when he was alive, what was the use of dying? Dead people wouldn't be able to see. Baiyu still shook her head. I don't need it. Thank you. But this is enough. Also, I hope that you won't let anyone know about our relationship. Please. Mr. Tang cried. If you accept half of my assets, I won't tell anyone. Baiyu smiled. If I accept your assets, then I won't be able to explain myself. Moreover, I don't know how to do business. It's not appropriate for you to give it to me. Then give me the money. You must accept it. That way, even if you don't recognize me, I can feel more at ease. Mr. Tang held her hand tightly. It's not that I don't recognize you, Baiyu explained. Xiao Nian, you should accept it. Grandpa Tang is old. This is his sincerity towards me. Letting him fulfill his wish is also my filial piety, right? Alan said. Baiyu glanced at Alan. What he said made sense. She didn't want to waste too much energy on this matter. Thank you, Grandpa. Mr. Tang smiled and patted Baiyu's hand. That's right. Alan, I'll have to trouble you to handle this matter. Well, it's not a problem. On the way back, Baiyu felt more and more uneasy. She looked at Alan, who was sitting next to her. Alan was looking at her. When he met her eyes, he smiled and said softly, "What's wrong?" Mr. Tang transferred the money to my card. Is it okay in your country? Is he an overseas Chinese or a British resident? Baiyu lowered her voice and asked. He's an overseas Chinese now. He doesn't want to change his nationality. His children are already authentic British. You don't have to worry about the transfer. I know what you're worried about. To put it simply, I have several companies in a country. The market value of some of them is very high. In fact, it's just a bubble economy. I can transfer them to you. You can sell them to him at a higher price. The money will be in your pocket. When the time comes, the tax will go through the normal legal process. Alan explained. Baiyu roughly understood. She looked out of the window with a heavy heart. You're not happy? Alan said worriedly. You're right. At least I can make Mr. Tang feel at ease if I take it. Why not? He can also help me keep it a secret. I'm not feeling emotional because some other things are piling up. I can't lift my spirits. Baiyu said honestly. Just tell me if you need my help. No matter how others betray you, I will never do it. Alan promised. Baiyu smiled. Her smile was faint. Her eyes were filled with melancholy. Thank you. Alan could tell that she was not happy. Where's your boat? I'll tell my grandmother. We can go there now. It should be good to go fishing on the sea. Okay, that's a good idea. Baiyu agreed easily. Xiao Nian and I want to go to the boat. We might not be back today. Alan made a call and purposely turned on the speaker. Oh, that's great. Jonah and I want to do something old people like to do. It's not suitable for you young people to follow us. Aling and Michelle have gone shopping again. They're the reincarnation of monkeys. They don't want to follow us. You guys have fun. Grandmother said happily. Baiyu looked at Alan in surprise. After he hung up, she asked, just the two of us? I can sleep at the bow. If Baiyu refused again, it would seem unreasonable. That's not necessary. There's a living room. After sending Grandfather Tang back to the hotel, they went to the supermarket to buy some ingredients. They drove for more than an hour to the pier. Your boat looks pretty good. What made you want to buy a boat? Alan was pleasantly surprised. Baiyu smiled. It was a sudden impulse. Come up and take a look. I'll cook. Chapter 445. Baya's mind flashed with the information that Mr. Gu was Gu Lingqing. She rushed out of the kitchen. It was really Gu Lingqing. He stood in front of her and looked at her with a heavy gaze. He was holding the dog in his hand. Her mood sank again, and her eyes dimmed from surprise. It turned out that he did not come to find her. He should be here to return the dog. It misses you, Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. Okay. Put it in the dog pot first. Coincidentally, its kennel is still there. I'll feed it something first. Baya turned to the kitchen to get the dog food. The puppy barked 3 times, as if it was calling her. Baya took the dog food out, and brought Gu Lingqing to the kennel on the bow of the boat. Gu Lingqing put the dog in the kennel, and Baya poured the dog food into its bowl. The dog wagged its tail and whimpered. Baya took another bowl to fill it with water. Gu Lingqing did not leave immediately. He patted the dog's head. Alan raised the corner of his mouth. Mr. Gu, stay and eat with us. Anyway, Baya bought a lot of food. Gu Lingqing did not answer Alan. He looked at Baya, who brought the water. Baya could not understand his thoughts. She wanted to save face. She was afraid that if she invited him, he would reject her directly. She did not say anything, but she felt sad in her heart. She lowered her head and put the water box in the kennel. She got up and said to Gu Lingqing, I'll go to the kitchen to cook. Gu Lingqing did not say anything. She did not know whether he was willing to stay or not. She turned around and went to the kitchen to cook. She listened to the outside, wanting to know if Gu Lingqing had left. If he was not willing to stay, he should leave now. If his voice was heard, it meant that he was willing to stay. Her heart was in a mess. Her mind was not on cutting vegetables. She cut her hand and blood flowed out. He hadn't heard Gu Lingqing speak yet. He was probably a little sad that he had left. Love wasn't just about loving each other. It needed to be managed. If it was managed well, they would love each other for a lifetime. If it wasn't managed well, they would eventually break up. Her personality. Baya examined himself and sighed. You're always like this. I really shouldn't let you cut vegetables in the future. Gu Lingqing's voice sounded. Baya looked to the right in surprise. It was really Gu Lingqing. He smiled. He glanced at her, held her hand, and washed it with the tap. Do you have hydrogen peroxide and bandages? There's disinfectant and wound pads. They're in the bedside table, Baya said. She looked at him and smiled. Gu Lingqing let go of her hand. Do it yourself. Yes. She turned around. Gu Lingqing held her arm. Baya glanced at him. Gu Lingqing's eyes darkened. Bring it over. I'll help you paste it. Baya smiled and nodded. She went to the room to get the first aid kit and bumped into Alan. He smiled gently at her. Something came up. I have to leave first. Agud, you deserve to be happy. Baya's eyes were a little moist. She understood that he did it on purpose. Although she and Alan hadn't known each other for a long time, he was like an angel. Every time, he would send warmth and help her solve her problems. Thank you, Alan. You never need to say thank you to me. All right, hurry up and go in. I'll contact you later. I'll contact you later. She watched him get off the boat. He turned around and waved at her. He smiled brightly, got into the car and left. Alan was really a good person. He never gave others a burden. He was relaxed and comfortable with others. He was brave, loyal, optimistic, tolerant, and able to pick up and let go. God wouldn't let such a person suffer from a serious illness. Baya watched Alan leave. Then, she went to the room to get the first aid kit. When she reached the kitchen, Gu Lingqing had already cut all the vegetables. Alan said he had something to do, so he left first. Baya said to Gu Lingqing, I'm on vacation these few days. Let's go out to sea together, Gu Lingqing said. Gu Lingqing said as he opened the first aid kit and took out disinfectant and cotton swabs from it. He held her hand, cleaned it, and stuck a bandage on it. Baya looked at his cold and resolute face with infatuation. Are you done calming down? Gu Lingqing looked up at her. What else can I do if I'm not calmed down? I want you to stay away from politics and not get involved in it. You've already become a diplomat. I can't change you. I can only change myself. I don't want anything to happen to you. And I don't want to see anything happen to you. If something really happens to you one day, at least I won't feel guilty and blame myself for sitting and waiting for death. Baya said gently. Gu Lingqing reached out and pulled her into his arms. He hugged her and closed his eyes, quietly feeling the pain in his heart. I met with Su Jiran yesterday. He told me to be careful of you. He said that you're Sheniyan's man, and that you'll soon become a diplomat and enter the cabinet. Baya, what do you want? What do you want? Baya looked at him. I want to get rid of those people who hurt me, you and Xiaoyan. Do you know that? It was Su Zheng who called Leng Shuai and asked him to catch Xiaohe. It's not that others won't hurt you if you don't hurt them. Your existence itself is a threat to others. I don't ask for much. I just want you to live well. Gu Lingqing looked at Baya with a burning gaze. I know I can't persuade you. In the future, we'll walk together. If you die, I'll die with you. Baya punched his shoulder and held back her tears. Didn't we agree to take good care of Xiaoyan? Gu Lingqing held her fist. We'll take care of Xiaoyan together. Also, what I said last time wasn't true. What did I say? I blamed you. I said that you can no longer see the shadow of Baya in you. I said that you lie, commit crimes, kill, and have no morals, etiquette, and shame. I just don't want you to risk your life again. Gu Lingqing said in a low voice and looked at her with pity. Baya lowered her eyes, and a warm liquid flowed down her face. When I first heard it, I was very sad. But when I woke up, I thought it through. You didn't sleep. You fainted. My men followed you and gave you medicine. I was there the whole time. Then Sheniyan's men took you away, Gu Lingqing explained. It turned out that he had been there the whole time when she fainted. Baya hugged his waist and leaned into his embrace. Gu Lingqing, let's not quarrel in the future. We'll work together to survive. I want to give birth to many babies for you. What if we leave this place? I'll put down my career, business, and family responsibilities. I won't be a stumbling block for others. Our family will live a carefree life overseas. I'll find an ordinary job to support you and Xiaoyan. Gu Lingqing said gently. Can I really? Baya asked Gu Lingqing. Chapter 446. As for killing, it was because he did not want to. Gu Lingqing nodded. Yes, to me, there is no one more important than you and little Yan. What about your parents? After all, you're their only child. Baya was worried. Bring them along. Be filial to them and enjoy the rest of your life, Gu Lingqing said. That's good. Baya nodded. By the way. Alright, I'll cook first. I haven't had lunch yet. I'm a little hungry. Your hand is injured. Rest for a while. I'll cook, Gu Lingqing said softly. This injury is nothing. Even if it's nothing, I'll still rest, Gu Lingqing said. He turned on the gas and added oil. Baya stood beside him. What about the people from the dark shadows? I've seen them. They're really willing to risk their lives for you. Gu Lingqing added spinach. There was water on the spinach, and it made a loud sizzling sound in the oil. Gu Lingqing stir-fried it a few times. When the sound subsided, he said, I'll make arrangements for them. They're all capable people. Leng Shuang will take good care of them. Leng Shuang? Baya chewed on the name. He's always wanted you to be the president. No matter how high I climb, when I die, I won't be able to leave anything behind. Even if it's recorded in history, it'll be changed by the people in charge later on. It's hard to say whether it'll be good or bad. I just want to live happily with the person I love for the rest of my life. Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. Baya hugged him from behind. Great minds think alike. It's a pity that I met you so late. Late? I think it's just right. Go and rest for a while. You can play with Little White too. It's tiring to stand. Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. Let's go to the deserted island for a few days. I'll be in the steering room. We'll catch crabs, fish, and wild boars. Baya was looking forward to it. Gu Lingqing smiled. Okay. She went to the steering room and adjusted the latitude and longitude. The boat left the dock and headed for the deserted island. Gu Lingqing was cooking, and Baya was lying on the sofa, holding the dog, watching a movie. Soon, the smell of food filled her nose. She paused the TV and went to find Gu Lingqing with the dog. "You bought a lot of vegetables," Gu Lingqing said. Baya craned his neck to see what Gu Lingqing was doing. There was carp sausage soup, stir-fried spinach, and braised chicken wings on the chopping board. She smiled. 3 dishes are enough for the 2 of us. Gu Lingqing tapped her nose. "You must be hungry. Let's eat." The dog also barked 3 times and looked at the braised chicken wings. Baya took one and placed it in front of the dog. The dog was biting a braised chicken wing. She put the dog down. "Remember to wash your hands," Gu Lingqing reminded. "Okay." Baya liked his reminder. Human happiness was very simple. As long as they were together and didn't quarrel, she would feel very happy. If they weren't together, even if she was rich, she wouldn't feel happy. After the meal, Gu Lingqing washed the dishes. She put the dog in the kennel. It was time for the dog to sleep. There weren't many bowls, so Gu Lingqing washed them very quickly. Baya pointed at the top. "It's specially designed for viewing the scenery. You can lie on it and enjoy the sea breeze. They gave me a small sponge that I can stick on it. I just need a pillow and a blanket to lie on." "I'll go get the blanket," Gu Lingqing said. "I'll go get the pillow," Baya said with a smile. They entered the room together. She hugged 2 pillows and Gu Lingqing took the blanket. She walked in front, put the pillows on the floor and lay down. Although the wind wasn't strong today, the boat was still swaying slightly. The sky was very blue. The sun was just right and there were white clouds. Gu Lingqing lay down beside her and covered them with the blanket. She was also looking at the sky, enjoying the peace at this moment. Baya turned around and looked at him. She learned from Alan. She didn't say anything that made her uncomfortable. "Which country is Xiaoyan in now?" Gu Lingqing looked at her. "France. He's doing very well now. Don't worry. Children are simple and happy. After I've settled a few things here, we'll go to France to look for them." Baya smiled. "Then let's keep Xiaoyan's adoptive parents by our side. They're really good to Xiaoyan. That's why Xiaoyan likes them so much. It'll be good for them to stay and take care of Xiaoyan. Who knows, we might have other children soon and need help." Gu Lingqing looked at her gently. "I think so too. What about Xiao Xian?" Baya paused. "Anyway, I respect your decision. I'll analyze the situation with him and let him make his own choice. If he chooses Zhou Hailan, I hope that Zhou Hailan will treat him well in the future. He can also come to me anytime. If he chooses me, I believe that you'll treat him well too." Gu Lingqing had already thought this through. "I'll take good care of him. At least, I'll discuss it with you and tell you how to deal with it. I've learned child psychology," Baya said with a smile. Gu Lingqing hugged her in his arms. "I haven't slept for a few days. Sleep with me for a while." "Okay." She was also a little lazy. "Do you want to sleep in the room? The last time I slept at the head of the bed, I caught a cold and a fever the next day." "Okay." Gu Lingqing took the blanket and Baya took the pillow. Before returning to the room, she went to the control room to make sure that there was no problem with the data before returning to the room. Under normal circumstances, they would only arrive after 8 p.m. It was still early. When they returned to the room, Gu Lingqing was already asleep and breathing evenly. While she was sad, his mood would not be good either. Gu Lingqing would always bear more than her. She lay beside Gu Lingqing and put her hand on his waist. She closed her eyes and the boat swayed. After a while, she also fell asleep. After some time, she opened her eyes. The sky was already dark. She turned on her phone and looked beside her with the light from the phone. Gu Lingqing was already gone. He was the one who was tired and woke up early. He did not say it, but she knew that he was under a lot of pressure. After all, he had to settle a lot of things before leaving. She took a thick coat and wrapped it around her body. Then, she took a blanket and went out. She shouted, "Gu Lingqing! Here!" Gu Lingqing came out from the back of the boat. When Baya saw him, the corner of her mouth turned up. She walked towards him and passed the blanket to him. "It's cold at night. Put on the blanket. I forgot to prepare some things for you on the boat. But after washing it tonight, it should be dry." Gu Lingqing took the blanket from Bai Ye's hands and put it on Bai Ye. I'm not cold. I wear about this in winter too. You know that. Also, if you are talking about underwear, I brought it. Ah, you brought it? Bai Ye looked at him in surprise. That meant that he came this time to stay here. She was worried for a long time, and even cut her hand. Chapter 447. In the evening, they did not finish the chicken wings from lunch, but they finished the fish soup. Gu Lingqing made winter-gourd pork rib soup and tomato eggs. Bai Ye ate Gu Lingqing's cooking happily. After dinner, the two of them watched a movie in the living room. Movies were bubble dramas. She could tell that Gu Lingqing did not like to watch them. What do you want to watch? I've downloaded a lot of movies with all kinds of themes. Gu Lingqing shook his head and held her in his arms. Watch whatever you like. I don't care. Bai Ye turned around and faced him. She thought for a moment and said, Gu Lingqing, there's one more thing I haven't told you. Huh? Isn't my mother an orphan? Her father came looking for her. We did a paternity test this morning. The result is out. I'm her granddaughter. Are you talking about Mr. Tang? Bai Ye pursed her lips and smiled. You've been following me all this time? I haven't left for almost 24 hours. Gu Lingqing did not deny it. Bai Ye's smile widened and she hugged Gu Lingqing's neck. At that time, she was sad when Gu Lingqing said that. Now that she thought about it, it was unnecessary. He said that on purpose so that she would not be in danger. Mr. Tang is a patriot. Every time there's an earthquake or flood in country A, he's the one who donated the most. He's very patriotic. He's the president of the Foreign Patriots Association and a member of the parliament. You've acknowledged him now? Gu Lingqing asked. Bai Ye nodded. At first, I wanted to narrow the gap between us, so I was really looking forward to it. But then, I found out that he had a little girl with him who looked like me. I was worried that Su Jieran would find out that I was Bai Ye, so I only met him in private. So I only acknowledged him in private. Because my grandfather owes my grandmother. He insists on compensating me. He will give me some money, and I will take it to fulfill one of his wishes. Gu Lingqing rubbed Bai Ye's head. I'm sorry. I should be the one accompanying you. I know why you did it. It doesn't matter. I really don't know if you are stupid or not. I have scolded you like that, but you still want to sacrifice for me. Gu Lingqing said with pity. Subconsciously, I thought that you were just temporarily angry and would definitely come looking for me. Bai Ye laughed. It seemed that she had guessed correctly. The ship's whistle sounded, and Bai Ye stood up. What's wrong? Gu Lingqing asked with confusion. The ship will reach the shore in about 2 kilometers. I'll go to the steering room to take a look. It's a little late today. Why don't we spend the night on the ship? Bai Ye suggested. Gu Lingqing nodded. The seaside is humid, and the blankets in the room need to be dried before we can sleep. Let's call it a night. We might be very busy tomorrow. Oh yeah, do you have a gun with you? Bai Ye was worried. If we encounter a black bear or a wolf, we'll be in trouble. Yes, I do. I applied for special permission. I'll go with you to the steering room. Gu Lingqing said as she held Bai Ye's hand and walked. He saw Bai Ye turn on the headlights, and the view in front suddenly became clear. Whether it was the naked eye or the video, he could see the beach and his house. Bai Ye skillfully adjusted the direction and speed, and stopped 50 meters away from the island. She lowered the anchor and fixed the ship. We're here, our home, Bai Ye said with a smile. Gu Lingqing also smiled. She looked at the time on her watch. It was 8:15 a.m., and it was still early to sleep. I also bought meat. Do you want to barbecue at the bow of the ship? Bai Ye suggested. Can we? This ship of yours has quite a lot of functions. Gu Lingqing was quite surprised. These pots and pans, as well as the induction cooker and the oven, were all given to me when I bought the ship. I have some firewood in the warehouse. When we go ashore tomorrow, we can move more firewood onto the ship. At that time, we can even drive the ship to travel around the world, Bai Ye said. Sounds good. Let's go to the warehouse. Gu Lingqing held her hand and went into the warehouse. He moved the oven out, and Bai Ye took the firewood, the baking pan and the paper. When Gu Lingqing started the fire, she washed the baking pan, cut the pork into thin slices, and put them on a plate. She also peeled the potatoes and cut them into thin slices, and put them on another plate. When Gu Lingqing was done with the fire and came to find her, she was cutting sweet peppers. Gu Lingqing, is our net still there? Yes, it's in the room. I will put the fishing net down tomorrow, and we will have fish and crabs to eat. With modern seasonings, it should be more delicious. I missed it so much that I went to the seafood buffet. I realized that it was not as warm as the island. Baya cut the vegetables and put the oil, monosodium glutamate, cumin, chili, and salt on the tray. Gu Lingqing took all of them. Baya brought 2 bottles of beer, 2 bowls, and a brush over and put them on the ground. The fire in the oven danced, and her face was flushed. Gu Lingqing barbecued meat. Baya picked up a piece and put it in her mouth. Her lips were oily. She savored the taste and praised, "Delicious. It's so delicious. Eat more if you like it," Gu Lingqing said dotingly. Baya took a sip of beer and put potatoes, peppers, and tomatoes on the paper. Then, she brushed a layer of oil on them. She covered the baking pan with paper. It would not give off a lot of smoke, and it would not burn the food easily. Tomorrow you will stay at home to dry the quilt, do the housework, and tidy up the house. I will go hunting. You can stay at home, but don't open the door. Do you understand? Also, I bought a GPS. You can dial a number with the house as the center. There will be signal within 200 meters. My room has electricity. You can contact the outside world with your brain. If you are bored, you can watch movies or play games online. Wait for me to come back. When will you come back? I will be worried about you. Why don't we do the housework together and go hunting together? Gu Lingqing picked up a few pieces of pork belly and put it in Baya's bowl. Hunting is a technical job. You can't make any noise, and you have to be fast. You will distract me. Also, hunting depends on luck. Many hunters go out in groups and stay in the mountains for a few days before returning home. Okay. It gets dark earlier in the forest. You have to come back at 3 o'clock, whether you have hunted or not. I have enough rice and some dry goods here. We will stay here for a few days. We won't starve. Gu Lingqing nodded. Okay. He added some pork belly to Baya's bowl. Baya picked up some for Gu Lingqing. You eat too. I ate all of it. Eat more. You will have strength later. Ha. Chapter 448. Firewood, fire, surging feelings, jumping blood. Under the romantic moonlight, the two of them entangled together. The floating light projected on the wall. Everything was beautiful and serene. At 7:15 the next morning, Baya woke up and looked to the right. Gu Lingqing also woke up, holding his head and looking at her. She smiled and took the initiative to hug him, nestling in his arms for a while. The weather is getting cold, put on more clothes today, Gu Lingqing said. Okay, I'll get up to make breakfast. After breakfast, we'll dry the quilt and then go to the beach to catch crabs. After eating, I'll take a nap and you'll go hunting, okay? Baya arranged. Gu Lingqing smiled. Okay. He went to wash up first and she put on clothes. She put on an extra vest and sportswear on the outside, which was more convenient for catching crabs. Coming out of the bedroom, the sun was shining brightly. She took a deep breath, and the air with the dampness of the forest and sea smelled especially fresh. She looked at him. He stood on top of the roof and exercised. His tall figure and beautiful face were especially pleasing to the eye. Baya smiled brightly. In the future, they would all be very happy, just like in a dream. And her heart was filled with a sweet feeling. She went to the kitchen to make breakfast and took the century eggs. There was still pork belly left yesterday, so she cut off the lean meat and made the century egg and lean meat porridge. The fat part was boiled in oil. She remembered the fat of wild boar at that time. It was especially fragrant. However, animal fat could not be eaten too much. It could easily clog the blood vessels. If she ate too much, she would exercise more to increase her metabolism. Now, she just had to wait for the porridge to be soft. She set the timer on the rice cooker for half an hour and went out. Gu Lingqing was still exercising, and she also stood beside him doing yoga. The two of them looked at each other and smiled. Baya looked into the distance of the sea and stretched. There's a treadmill in the living room. I'll buy some barbells next time. Okay. We're going to France. Why did you choose to settle in France? I thought it would be Germany or Africa. Baya was curious. Do you remember that I invited you to France for a vacation? Gu Lingqing asked. She remembered, but at that time, the two of them had a conflict again, so the trip was cancelled. You have a house in France? Yes, a little more than you think. We live in Bordeaux. That place is close to the sea. When we travel, we can drive our own boat there. We will pass by a few famous cities. We will stay in that city for a month and travel there. Gu Lingqing said with a smile. Is the procedure easy? The Gu family has exclusive docks in many places. It's not difficult. Baya's eyes darkened. The Gu's was his family's business. If he wanted to sell it, he would definitely face a lot of criticism, including from his parents. Actually, it doesn't matter if we don't sell the Gu's. We can just put our headquarters in Bordeaux. Anyway, we won't be coming back to a country, and those people shouldn't be afraid anymore. Are they afraid of you? You won't fight with them for the presidency. Well, let's not worry about this first. We will deal with it when we get back, Gu Lingqing said with a smile. They exercised together. Baya was in a good mood and began to hum a tune. Gu Lingqing thought it was quite nice. What song is this? The person I love the most, Baya said with a smile. Gu Lingqing also smiled and looked at her with a burning gaze. He repeated her words. The person I love the most. Good. Baya's heart was beating fast and her face was red. Breakfast should have been ready. I will go down first. Let's go together. He held her hand and walked in front of her into the kitchen. The porridge was indeed ready. It was puffing and steaming. Baya turned off the power and brought 2 bowls and spoons over. Gu Lingqing took the spoon from her hand and let out the air in the pressure cooker before opening the lid. The pot was still bubbling. The porridge was sticky. There was white rice, black century eggs, and dark red meat. It looked delicious. He scooped the porridge and brought it to the table. She took the poached eggs and chopsticks over and reminded him. Be careful. It's hot. Eat it when it's cold. He nodded and opened the fridge. There was a whole chicken, a few cucumbers, a few carrots, and a bag of tea tree mushrooms. There were no other fresh ingredients. What do you want to cook later? I will cut the ingredients for you, Gu Lingqing said. Her heart warmed. We will have chicken soup for lunch. It is a whole chicken stewed in a casserole pot. There is no need to cut it. Then I will cook a carrot, cucumber, and egg. That's it. The cucumber and carrot are not difficult to cut. I have cut the carrot. You can stir-fry it later. Gu Lingqing took the carrot out of the fridge. She started to wash it without saying anything. Then I will go wash our clothes. She walked into the room and washed their underwear. She hung them on the ceiling. When she was done, the porridge was cold. She added some hot porridge, and it was just right. After lunch, Baya drove the boat to the shore and put down the ladder. Gu Lingqing carried the bucket and 2 small shovels down first. When she went down, Gu Lingqing carried her directly. Baya grinned and pressed the remote control to put the ladder back. Some of the crabs on the shore felt the movement and quickly moved. Some drilled into the sand, and some quickly ran into the sea. Gu Lingqing put on white gloves for her. Some of the crabs did not run in time and jumped into their bucket. After only an hour, they had a bucket full of crabs. The products here are much better than on Stephen's Island. Baya sighed. Stephen has lived on that island for more than 20 years, and he often goes there. After a long time, the crabs are not stupid, and they naturally go there less. No one lives here for a long time. The natural enemies of the crabs are migratory birds, but there are not many migratory birds here, so there are many crabs. Gu Lingqing explained. We are going to France. I will miss this place. Baya sighed. It will be fine to come here for a period of time every year. I am no longer in politics, and the business of Gu's is also on the right track. I still have time to accompany my wife. Gu Lingqing took her hand back to the house, unlocked it, and closed the door outside. Then we will cook here today? Baya asked. There is a stove here, and the woodshed is full of firewood. I have bought all the seasonings. I will go to bed and bring the ingredients here later. Gu Lingqing lowered his head and glanced at the kitchen. Baya made an okay gesture. I will dry the quilt. Gu Lingqing opened the door and went to the second floor to turn on the generator, the signal transmitter, and the induction cooker. When Baya was drying the quilt, she heard the phone ringing. Chapter 449. She took a deep breath and called Alan back. Sorry, I went out to sea yesterday so there was no signal. It doesn't matter. I think so too. Xiaonian, I'm at the airport now. I'm going to accompany my grandmother back, Alan said softly. Baya felt guilty. When she was in England, Alan took good care of her and never refused to help her. She promised to treat him to her cooking, but in the end, she did not do it. Will you come again? Of course, I haven't transferred the company to you yet. There are still many things that I haven't done. I mean, I have a lot of business in a land. Besides, I have you and Gu Lingqing as my friends. This country and this city have a different meaning to me because of you. I will come again, Alan said. He said with a smile. When you come again, I will definitely treat you to a meal. Baya promised. No need. I'm afraid that I won't be willing to leave after eating it. Well, I'll check out the room for you. Have fun outside, Alan said meaningfully. Without giving Baya any chance to speak, he hung up the phone. How are you going to get a girlfriend like this? Alan's grandmother complained. Alan smiled gently. If you can't find me, I'll always be with you. You want to be with me forever, but I can't be with you forever. I will live for another 4 to 5 years. You should find a girlfriend eventually. I like Wu Nian very much. She is different from other girls. She is a pure person just like her grandmother, Alan's grandmother said willfully. Alan smiled. When she has someone else in her heart, if I continue to pester her, she will only be irritated and I will be tired. I want her to be happy all the time. If Gu Lingqing can't give her happiness, I will get her back. All right, Grandma, we should get on the plane. Alan put his arm around his grandmother's shoulder and walked forward. Just as they were about to enter the airport, he turned around and looked into the distance. He knew that Wu Nian wouldn't come, but he still turned around to look. Ridiculous. Baya called Xiaonian back. Where is it? If you want to enter the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, you'll need to go through the interview. I've already arranged it for you. Come to the parliament in the afternoon. Xiaonian said while concealing her anger. I'm sorry. I can't enter the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, or the cabinet anymore. I've discussed it with Gu Lingqing. I'll leave here and never come back, Baya said. Xiaonian paused. You and Gu Lingqing are leaving? Could he leave? Now that he's gone, all those years of hard work will go to waste. Xiaonian, we are different from you. Our dream is to live a happy life as a family. We don't care about other things, Baya said in a deep voice. Gu Lingqing's parents won't agree, Xiaonian said with certainty. We will try to persuade them to go with us. If they are unwilling, we will go by ourselves. So, I'm sorry, you don't have to help me arrange it. Thank you, Baya said straightforwardly. You guys, where are you going? Won't you come back in the future? Xiaonian asked as if she was thinking about something. If Gu Lingqing's parents go with us, they probably won't come back. Only you know how much you've sacrificed in order to stabilize the regime and be a good president. We want to be with the person we love the most. All right, I'll stop talking. I'm busy now, Baya said resolutely. She hung up the phone. Xiaonian was stunned on the spot. After a while, she opened the photo album on her phone. There were photos of Lu Shuang and their baby. He envied Gu Lingqing and Baya very much. They could give up everything, family, glory, responsibility, and country, for the sake of being together. But he couldn't because if he gave up, his family would be wiped out one by one. Baya hung up the phone and called Zhou Hailan back. Baya, where are you now? Why didn't you call me back? Ever since I was admitted to the hospital, Su Jiran hasn't come to see me even once. What about the thing you promised me? Zhou Hailan said angrily. Baya was silent. She had a feeling that she didn't want to care about anything anymore. What responsibility, what burden, what promise? Compared to being with Gu Lingqing, everything became insignificant. I'm on vacation outside now. Let's talk about it when I come back. Vacation? I'm in the hospital and you're actually on vacation. Baya, let me tell you, if you can't do what you promised me, I won't let you off, Zhou Hailan said arrogantly. She hung up the phone immediately. The moment she contacted the outside world, she felt a heavy pressure on her shoulders. If she could, she really wanted to be isolated from the world. She wanted to stay on this deserted island with Gu Lingqing and never go back. Before she could make the call, an unknown number called. She picked up the phone. Hello, who's this? Baya, I'm Xiaohe. Thank you for saving me. I've now recovered my innocence, and the country has compensated me. I'm now the director of the Southern District Military Office in City A with the rank of Lieutenant Colonel, Xiaohe said excitedly. You deserve it. Baya was happy for her too. When are we going to meet up? I'll treat you to a meal. I still have a lot of things to tell you. Xiaohe was still excited. All right, let's meet up when I come back from my vacation, Baya said in a low voice and hung up the phone. There was still one last call from Su Jiran. She didn't want to reply or pick up the call, so she switched off her phone and continued to dry the quilt. Gu Lingqing stood in the corridor on the second floor and looked at her. His gaze was deep and there was a hidden emotion in it. The corner of his mouth was slightly raised. It was worth it. He had given up his dream to be with her. He could live a relaxed and happy life with her children. Knowing how to give up was another kind of scenery. Baya turned back to look at him after drying the quilt. Gu Lingqing was drying the clothes in the corridor on the second floor. He looked at her and smiled. Baya went in to cook. She boiled the chicken soup first and stir-fried vegetables in another pot. 1 carrot, 1 egg and 1 cucumber. She washed them quickly and put them on the stove to cook. In modern society, rice cookers were used in many places. Actually, the rice was more fragrant when cooked in such a big pot, especially at the bottom. If it was cooked for too long, a layer of rice crust would form. It was hard, crispy, and fragrant. Sometimes it could be eaten with a little sugar or cut into pieces and put in the bowl. It was especially delicious when the soup was poured into the bowl. Today, she specially cooked the rice a little more and made a bowl of rice crust soup. Chapter 450. Baya guessed that he was talking to his father, and it made sense. If she were his parents, she would not agree with him leaving everything, leaving the country where he had made a name for himself, going to another country, and maybe never coming back. While Baya was in a daze, Gu Lingqing walked in front of her. Baya raised her head and looked at him. She didn't want to be a burden to him, but when things developed, there was a moment when she didn't realize it. When she realized it, she was still a burden. I'm sorry. There's nothing to be sorry about. Everyone has their own ambitions. I don't force others and I don't want others to force me, because I know what to do to make me happy, Gu Lingqing said with a smile. Your father still owes you a lot. We're already parents and we should understand the feeling of wanting our son to succeed. So, talk to him nicely even if he's forcing you. Or try to convince him calmly. That's even better, Baya said gently. I remember you once said that if you love him, you don't think about what you have to do to him. Instead, you think about what he wants you to do. That is love, right? Gu Lingqing asked softly. Baya's eyes turned red. So you love me more than I love you. I have to love you more in the future. Gu Lingqing smiled and rubbed Baya's head. Can we eat now? I'm full. I'm going out to hunt. I forgot to ask you. What are you going to use for hunting? A pistol? Baya asked. I have a crossbow in my room. It's a modern version. I'll show it to you later. When you're free, I'll help you practice archery, Gu Lingqing said gently. That's great. I want to practice, Baya said with a smile. Gu Lingqing held her hand and brought her downstairs to eat. After eating, she saw his crossbow. It was different from what she had imagined. She thought it was a bow and arrow, but it wasn't. It could be done with one hand on the trigger. She seemed to have seen it in a sci-fi movie. This crossbow is small and easy to carry. Its range and strength are 3 times that of a bow and arrow. There's also an enhanced version of the arrow. It can penetrate a wild boar's head from 10 meters away. The poison at the tail of the arrow has a knockout effect. Basically, it can subdue the enemy in one move. Gu Lingqing explained to Baiya. He also wanted Baiya to be at ease. Sounds good. It's already past 12 o'clock now, so you have to come back before 3:30, no matter if you catch any prey or not. I'll be worried about you. Also, do you have a flashlight here? Take it with you just in case. Let me tell you, if you don't come back by 10 o'clock, I'll go and find you, understand? Baiya said. Do you understand? Gu Lingqing chuckled and rubbed her face. Yes, Chief. Come back early, Baiya said reluctantly. I won't go out. Wait for me to come back, Gu Lingqing said. Oh right, bring an umbrella. The weather in the ocean is not good. It'll rain in the afternoon, Baiya reminded. I brought a raincoat. Don't worry, Gu Lingqing said gently. Baiya looked at the backpack he prepared. It looked bulging. Okay, be careful on the road. She stood on the second floor and watched him leave. When Gu Lingqing left, he helped her close the door and quickly disappeared from her sight. As soon as he left, this place instantly became cold and empty. She didn't want to miss him too much, so she started to clean every room, making sure that it was spotless. After she was done, she looked at the time. It was already 4 o'clock. She put away the quilt and bedding and put them on the bed. His clothes were hanging in the closet. Maybe it was because Gu Lingqing had just brought the clothes over not long ago, so they didn't go moldy. The weather by the sea was too humid. It was the same for people. After she was done, she stood on the balcony and looked into the distance. From time to time, she would look at her phone. The anxiety of waiting was really annoying. At 5:36 a.m., she heard someone knocking on the door. She was worried that it was a wild animal and asked cautiously, "Who is it?" "It's me." Gu Lingqing's voice was heard. Baiya smiled brightly. "I'm coming." She happily came down the stairs and opened the door. Gu Lingqing seemed to have hunted a lot of game. He got 2 sacks and one of the sacks seemed to have something moving. "What is it?" "Let's go to the woodshed now. Take out the mat and form a circle," Gu Lingqing said. She had seen the sleeping mat in the cupboard when she was cleaning up earlier today. She immediately went to get it and formed a circle. "Let the joint face the corner of the wall," Gu Lingqing said. "Oh." Baiya straightened it and piled a lot of wood outside the joint to ensure that the circle would not fall easily. Gu Lingqing turned the moving sack upside down. 2 big rabbits came out, followed by 1, 2, 3, for a total of 8 small rabbits. Baiya was surprised and looked at Gu Lingqing. Why are there so many of them? And they are still alive. How did you catch them? Haven't you heard of rabbits catching a nest? I followed the rabbit home, and then I killed all of them, Gu Lingqing explained. Rabbits, they are quite cute. She couldn't bear to eat them. However, this world was a survival of the fittest. This was the natural law of survival. Perhaps, only young ladies who lived in a greenhouse without worrying about food and clothing were qualified to pity small animals. Gu Lingqing poured out the things in the other sack. Baiya saw 3 pheasants. She didn't know if they were dead or in a coma. There were also a lot of bracken and some wild vegetables that she didn't know the name of. Are you still digging wild vegetables? I saw it on the way. There are a lot of matsutake in it. You can put it in the chicken soup, Gu Lingqing said and picked up the pheasants. I'll have to trouble you to boil more hot water later. I'm going to deal with the pheasants. We have so much food. You don't have to go hunting tomorrow. Baiya said with a smile. She wanted to stay with him. Gu Lingqing smiled. Do you know how to take a bath in this place? How? Baiya asked. Gu Lingqing took her to a small room inside. There was also a stove. Different from the stove used for cooking, the pot was very big. This is for taking a bath. When I was a doctor, I went to the mountains for voluntary consultation. I took a bath in a resident's house. Put water on it, light a fire under it, heat the water, and lie in it to take a bath, Baiya said. You know, Gu Lingqing smiled and looked at her with a burning gaze. Tonight, let's take a bath together. It won't be cold here. Take a bath together? Bai Ye's face turned red. She lowered her head in embarrassment. Her eyes flashed and she said, I'm going to make dinner now. I haven't finished the lunch. We can eat when it's hot. Chapter 451. Bai Ye didn't refuse. She closed her eyes and kissed him back. Suddenly, she thought of something. Little White, we left Little White on the boat for a day. We forgot to feed him at noon. Gu Lingqing looked at her and smiled helplessly. Okay, you cook. I'll bring Little White over. But don't let him go to the woodshed. He will scare the rabbit. We still have to raise the rabbit before we eat it. Bai Ye made an okay gesture. Don't forget to bring the dog food. She went to cook dinner and boil water. Gu Lingqing went to the bed and took the dog back. In 10 minutes, she prepared dinner and water. Then she helped Gu Lingqing pluck the feathers of the chicken. Little White was around them. He kissed the chicken and wanted to bite it. Little White, you are not allowed to bite it, Bai Ye said. The dog looked at Bai Ye and walked away dejectedly. After a while, when Bai Ye wasn't paying attention, it sneaked back and bit the chicken feathers. Its eyes were still peeking at Bai Ye. When it saw Bai Ye looking at it, it ran away dejectedly. Bai Ye smiled. We'll keep one chicken and put the rest in the fridge on the boat, Gu Lingqing said. Bai Ye nodded. That's good. I can try to make different kinds of dishes with the chicken. I won't get tired of it these days. Gu Lingqing looked at her. Her eyes were full of tenderness. When they finished cooking the chicken, the sky was dark. The dog was tired and full. It lay on the ground and took a nap. When Gu Lingqing went to the boat to put the chicken, he picked up the dog and put it back in the kennel on the boat. In the evening, Bai Ye made a bowl of mixed bracken in addition to the leftovers from the day. Did anything interesting happen when you were hunting today? Bai Ye asked. Gu Lingqing shook his head, thought for a moment and said, the most interesting thing is to find prey, the moment you catch it, and the surprise when you see them. Can you teach me all these skills? I want to go with you in the future. I'm a bit bored at home, Bai Ye said softly. Hunting is hard work. Gu Lingqing didn't want her to suffer. It's fine as long as I don't think it's tiring. If I think it's tiring, I won't go anymore. How about this? Tomorrow, you take me hunting. We won't be able to catch anything. Anyway, we already have food, so it's fine even if we can't catch anything. Right? Bai Ye suggested. Yes, I can do anything you say, Gu Lingqing said helplessly. Then you agree? I only need a knife. Bai Ye was elated. Gu Lingqing laughed. I'll give you a gun to protect yourself, but you have to follow me closely. I'm already following you closely to hunt. I won't agree to not follow you closely, Bai Ye said jokingly. Gu Lingqing was amused by Bai Ye. Got it. We'll leave tomorrow morning. Is that okay? Then I'll make some dry food at night. There's flour, butter, and an oven on the boat. Bai Ye pointed at the door behind her. Okay, let's go together after we shower. Huh. Gu Lingqing looked at her deeply. She understood. She didn't think too much about it. However, she was willing to do it. Even thinking about it made her feel exceptionally sweet. The pot was quite big, but with 2 adults in it, it felt small. Bai Ye was a little worried. Are you sure you won't step on it? He bit her lips and supported himself with his hand on the side. The muscles on his arm were tense, and he said hoarsely, No, I think it's weird. Because in the pot, she remembered the word food. He hugged her waist and lifted her up. What's weird about it? You've watched too many Japanese movies. Huh. Bai Ye. She had watched Asian movies before. The girls in those movies often said that it was weird. She felt awkward. When she said that it was weird, it really was weird. That's not what I meant, Bai Ye explained. Then what do you mean? He exerted more force. She moaned and said coquettishly, Be gentler. He lowered his head and kissed her lips to her neck, to her collarbone, and then downwards. The shower lasted for 45 minutes. When she came out, she was limp and had no energy left. Gu Lingqing carried her to the blanket, and the two of them stayed in bed for a long time. They had wanted to make cookies at night, but in the end, they didn't and went to sleep. She slept well that night. The next day, she woke up at 6:30, feeling refreshed. She turned her head to look at Gu Lingqing. He was still sleeping. She turned around and faced him. Her heart was surging with sweetness as she smiled. Gu Lingqing's eyes were still closed. Suddenly, he smiled and hugged her in his arms, turning over. "What are you smiling about?" "I feel very happy," Baiye said with a smile. Gu Lingqing's eyes were moved. "We will always be happy in the future." Baiye smiled and raised her brows. She believed that when they left country A, they would be able to live a normal life like ordinary people. "I have to make some rations this morning. Didn't we say that we would go hunting in the morning? I think we should get up," Baiye said. Although she didn't want to get up, it felt good to stay by his side. It was safe, stable, and warm. All right, I'll go pick up some firewood. You stay on the boat. Before I come back, you're not allowed to come down, understand?" Gu Lingqing instructed. "I understand. I will be responsible for my life for you. Similarly, I hope that you will be responsible for your own life for me." Gu Lingqing tapped her forehead. After brushing her teeth and washing up, he sent her to the boat. Baiye also brought the pheasant that she hung up yesterday to the boat. She first used the rice cooker to cook porridge. She stuffed the pheasant's stomach with garlic, ginger, and a bag of medicine that she specially made. It contained fennel, tangerine peel, pepper, cloves, and licorice. She poured the MSG salt, sesame oil, soy sauce, sugar, and corn flour into the cooking wine. After mixing it, she spread it evenly on the pheasant's body and stomach. Then she put it into the oven. Soon, the kitchen was filled with a delicious smell. The dog barked a few times at the head of the bed. Baiye went to feed the dog food and water. She patted the dog's head. "I'm going out for a day. I'll be back in the evening. Thank you, Xiao Bai, for cooking." "Woof." The dog barked. Baiye poured enough dog food into the dog's bowl. She came back, washed her hands, and made cookies. "It smells so good. What did you make?" Gu Lingqing's voice sounded. Baiye turned around and looked at him. "Roast chicken. It's delicious even when it's cold. There's about 2 minutes left. When it's done, bake the cookies. The porridge is almost ready. There's fermented bean curd. I'll cook 2 eggs and it'll be ready. I feel like you've done a lot of things." Gu Lingqing sighed. Chapter 452. The forest was more magical than she had imagined, but it was also more dangerous than she had imagined. The danger did not lie in the large animals, but in the small animals and insects. It was not easy to see them with the naked eye, such as spiders and snakes. If she was not careful, these things could kill her. So she always had a wooden stick in her hand to clear the path in front of her. The forest was hotter and humid than the outside, and the ground was slippery. Baiye tried her best to follow Gu Lingqing, not wanting to be his burden. But she could feel that he was still slowing down to wait for her. And he was more careful than usual. It's a pity that there are no bamboo shoots in this season, or it would be delicious. Baiye sighed. There are no bamboo shoots now, but there are matsutake mushrooms. Gu Lingqing explained. Baiye stopped and looked up. Above her head were dense leaves. This geographical environment was indeed suitable for the growth of fungi. She patted Gu Lingqing. Doesn't that look like a grapefruit?" Gu Lingqing looked up. "It looks like it. Wait a minute, be careful of the snakes on the ground, and the spiders on top of your head." Gu Lingqing reminded her. He took off his belt and climbed up the tree in no time. That posture was really cool. Baiye smiled and watched him pluck the grapefruit. "Xiaoye, be careful." He threw the grapefruit down. Baiye dodged. Gu Lingqing only plucked 3 grapefruit. He would not be able to carry any more. Baiye took out one. It was very heavy. She used a knife to cut open the grapefruit and peeled it a little. "It's not bad, it's sweet and sour." She peeled the skin off the grapefruit and only held the meat. It was lighter. "Will it spoil easily?" Gu Lingqing asked. "No, I have honey and rock sugar on the boat. If we can't finish them, we can make honey grapefruit." It's better to drink tea. Baya looked up at the tree full of grapefruit and sighed. Nature is really amazing. I found a lot of chestnut trees yesterday. Do you want to eat chestnuts? Let's go and hunt some chestnuts on our way back. Gu Lingqing said lightly. He had seen a lot. He had stayed in the forest for a long time and witnessed the gifts of nature, as well as the cruelty of nature. Baya had only come to the forest when she followed him. The last time, she had only walked with him for a while. She was pleasantly surprised. That's great. Let me tell you, chestnuts can be boiled, stir-fried and roasted. They're also very nutritious. Yes, I'll pick more when I get back. Gu Lingqing said as he pulled her forward for another half an hour. Suddenly he stopped, chose a spot, and squatted down with Baya. Baya didn't even dare to breathe heavily. He stared at the direction Gu Lingqing was looking at. First, the bushes moved. Not long after, a pair of tusks appeared. A big wild boar made a goo-goo sound and swaggered out. That wild boar was very big. It was estimated to be 200 pounds. It was much bigger than the one they caught before. Compared to this one, the previous one was probably underage. Gu Lingqing picked up the crossbow and aimed at the wild boar. The wild boar looked in Gu Lingqing's direction and discovered Gu Lingqing. It ran towards the bushes on the right at lightning speed. Squat here, Gu Lingqing ordered. He jumped out of the bushes and chased after the wild boar. He didn't dare to chase too far. He was afraid that Baya would be in danger, and he wouldn't be able to save her in time. Baya didn't want to be a burden. She would hide when he asked her to. But she seemed to have heard a strange sound. She turned around and saw the wild boar that was estimated to be 200 pounds staring at her. Baya was so scared that her legs turned to jelly. She sat on the ground and remembered that she had a gun in her bag. She went to take the gun. But it was too late. The wild boar rushed towards her. She instinctively threw the bag at it and shouted, Gu Lingqing. When Gu Lingqing heard Baya's voice, his heart skipped a beat. He immediately turned back. The wild boar didn't stare at her. It ran to the bag and used its nose to sniff at the chicken meat. It took a big bite out of it. Baya guessed that she would be the wild boar after it ate the chicken. She quickly stood up, climbed up the tree and stared at the wild boar. Gu Lingqing arrived. He fired the crossbow at lightning speed. The arrow was shot out and went through the wild boar's head. The wild boar swayed a few times and fell to the ground. He didn't have time to check on the wild boar. He looked at Baya. Are you okay? Baya was still in shock. She shook her head. I'm fine. She came down from the tree. Before she landed, Gu Lingqing carried her down and apologized. I'm sorry. I was careless. This forest is their territory. They are more familiar with the road than me. I'm useless. It has nothing to do with you. Besides, I think that the wild boar smelled the chicken on me. So I threw the bag and it chased after the bag. You can carry the food in the future. I will improve my survival skills. I won't let you worry. Baya promised. She said. Gu Lingqing saw that she was really fine. He was relieved. He had to be more careful when he brought her out in the future. He would rather not have food than let anything happen to her. Baya looked at the wild boar on the ground. Our chicken is gone. That pig looks huge. How are we going to bring it back? Gu Lingqing looked at the time on his phone. It was 12:10 p.m. With it, our trip was not in vain. We can probably eat for a few months. Let's go back now. Eat some biscuits and drag it back. It's too heavy. Baya suggested. Actually, we can deal with it here. We won't eat the internal organs, but other animals will eat it. Gu Lingqing said and walked towards the wild boar. Baya turned around and did not look at Gu Lingqing. She ate the biscuits. This was the law of survival in nature. The strong preyed on the weak. No one was a fairy who could survive by drinking dew. After 15 minutes, Gu Lingqing walked towards her. Let's go. The smell of blood will attract nearby carnivores. Then, her mind flashed. Wouldn't they be able to catch all of them at once? Gu Lingqing saw her doubts. Do you eat wolf meat? Baya shook her head. Do you eat lions and tigers? Gu Lingqing asked again. Baya shook her head again. Those are protected animals. Stay. When they want to eat us, we can only kill them. To avoid unnecessary harm, let's go. Gu Lingqing said and held her hand. Baiya looked at the sack. It was bulging and bloodstained. Have you dealt with it? Yes, almost. Let's go back first. After we go back, I'll go pick the chestnuts and you'll be responsible for the meat. Is that okay? Gu Lingqing asked. Sure, I'll help you carry it. You need too much strength to carry it like this. The blood will also rub on your body, Baiya suggested. It's okay. Just walk properly. This weight is nothing to me. He felt sorry for her and did not want her to be tired. Chapter 453. It was easy to get lost in the forest because there were no landmarks. People with a bad sense of direction wouldn't be able to tell north from south. Fortunately, Gu Lingqing was a very sensitive person. He would make some marks on the trees. She asked him what those marks meant. He explained to her in detail that the marks had 20% meaning, direction and angle. Simply put, it meant what direction you were standing in, and what time you were looking at the watch. The specifics would be told to the team members during the mission. The rules of each mission were different. Even if the enemy found the marks on the trees, they wouldn't know where they were. Only their own people would know. For example, he made the marks facing south this time. There would be a slight deviation when he looked at the watch at a 45-degree angle, but it didn't affect him much. They set off at 9:30 in the morning. Because they had to look for prey on the way, they arrived much slower than when they went back. It was only 2:30 in the afternoon when they reached the beach. Gu Lingqing threw away the wild boar's head and innards. Baiya weighed the remaining wild boar meat on the scale. There were still 130 catties left. He went to the beach to wash the wild boar. She cooked first. She could make shredded meat and egg-fried rice later. Gu Lingqing didn't eat anything on the way. Even if there were biscuits, she was the one who forced him to eat them. After a while, Gu Lingqing came back with the wild boar meat and asked Baiya, "What are you going to do with this meat? I don't think we can eat so much at once. I think we can go hunting for a long time. It won't be a problem for us to get through the winter." Baiya smiled. Gu Lingqing also raised the corner of his mouth. "If you like, you can stay on this island for a while. I think it's better." Okay. Baiya agreed. She liked this unfettered, unburdened, relaxed, and leisurely life. She could cultivate for a few months without any worries. She pointed at the pork rib section. "We'll eat chestnut pork ribs tonight, and I'll make braised pork trotters. We'll marinate the streaky pork later, and we'll make bacon out of the pork ribs. You keep this lean meat part too. Tomorrow, we'll go to the forest to look for edible wild vegetables. I'll make dumplings for you. We can keep them for a week. Just put them in the refrigerator. The rest can be frozen first. We can eat some later." That's right. But you have to divide them into different categories. Some are for stir-frying, some for soup, some for braising, and some for braising. It's a pity that you lost the pig's trotters and pig's head. Baiya pursed her lips and smiled. Gu Lingqing glanced at her. He didn't know what was so funny. "I'll cut it now. You leave the food you need for a week," Gu Lingqing said. "Cut a piece of foreleg meat for me first. I'm going to use it for egg-fried rice." Baiya divided the meat, and Gu Lingqing put it in the fridge on the ship. When he came back, he took the dog back. After dinner, Gu Lingqing set off to pick chestnuts. Baiya glanced at the time. It was already past 15. The place to pick chestnuts is not far away. It's past 16 o'clock in the forest this season. It gets dark very quickly. Baiya was worried. Gu Lingqing rubbed her head. "It's not far. I know. I'll be back before 18 o'clock. Don't worry." Baiya nodded and walked him to the door. "Close the door," Gu Lingqing said. Baiya closed the door reluctantly. She thought that it would only take 2 hours. She went back to marinate the meat first and chopped the minced meat for the dumplings tomorrow. When she was almost done, she found that it was getting dark. She looked at the time. It was 17:50. She turned on the light and went to the second floor to look outside. From afar, she saw a figure coming. It should be Gu Lingqing. Baiya couldn't help but smile. He was a man of his word. He would do what he promised. She saw him approaching and quickly ran down the stairs. When she heard the first knock on the door, she opened the door and said with a smile, "I'm so happy to see you." Gu Lingqing came in with 2 sacks and frowned. "It's cold. Why don't you put on more clothes? It's not allowed in the future. You'll catch a cold. I'll stand outside for a while. You'll see." "That's not allowed either," Gu Lingqing said. He took the 2 sacks to the kitchen and poured out the chestnuts in one of the sacks. Baiyu was surprised to see the original chestnuts. She squatted down and picked one up. "You mean this hedgehog-like thing is a chestnut? This one grows on the tree. If it accidentally falls and pricks a person's head, he'll definitely die." Gu Lingqing picked up one on the ground and broke it open. There were 3 black chestnuts inside. "So it's really chestnuts. You pick so many," Baiyu sighed. "One is a very big chestnut for making soup. The other is a small chestnut that can be cooked and eaten. It's sweeter. I didn't really pick it. I just picked it up after it fell from the tree. I should have followed you. That way, I can help you pick it up and it'll be faster." Gu Lingqing pinched her nose. "You're under the tree, and I'm on the tree. I'll be worried." On the tree, under the tree. Why did she feel that they were like monkeys? She smiled. "Then I'll peel some big ones to make soup. Wear gloves. Don't get pricked," Gu Lingqing said. He looked at her thin and tender hands. "Forget it. I'll do it. You boil the water and put the chestnuts in cold water. It'll be easier to peel them. Oh, are you hungry now?" "I ate shredded meat and egg fried rice at 15 p.m. It's only 18 p.m. now. Of course I'm not hungry. Are you hungry?" Gu Lingqing asked. Baiyu smiled and shook her head. "I'm not hungry either." She went to boil the water. After cooking the chestnuts, she watched Gu Lingqing peel the hedgehog-like things. He was very fast. Soon he was done peeling. It looked like a sack. After peeling, there was probably a third of it left, but it was still a lot. They didn't have to go out for the next few days. After he was done peeling the big ones, he peeled the small ones. The small ones were a little big. They were half the size of the sugar-fried chestnuts sold in the market. The big ones were also half the size of the sugar-fried chestnuts. So, the small ones were only a quarter of the big ones. It took more time to peel them than the big ones. Baiyu boiled the chestnuts. When she put them in cold water to cool, she wanted to help Gu Lingqing. "You need to use a knife to peel the chestnut. Do you know how to make 4 cuts on it?" Gu Lingqing asked worriedly. "Of course." Gu Lingqing felt that she could make a cut. "Forget it. You can make the pork trotters." "I'll do it. I can do it. I'll be careful. If I make a cut again, don't let me do it again." She wanted to help him. "You can make the pork trotters now. You're good at that. It takes a long time to cook, right?" Gu Lingqing asked. "This kind of pot is fine. Don't worry about the firewood. You just need to add firewood from time to time." "Aren't we going to make chestnut pork ribs? We have 2 pots. What about lunch? There's still a lot of rice left for lunch. Just put it on top of the pork rib soup and steam it. We can also steam it." Chapter 454. He paused for 5 seconds and said, "There doesn't seem to be any vegetarian dishes. It's easy to get inflamed if you eat like this. Don't you have matsutake and chestnuts? Tomorrow morning we'll go to the forest to look for wild vegetables and eat dumplings." Baiyu glanced at the matsutake mushrooms that she had washed. Gu Lingqing nodded. "Let's roast pork trotters then." He continued to peel the chestnuts. Why did she find him so adorable? She started a fire and boiled the pork trotters in the water to remove the dirt. The fire was very strong, and she only needed to add a little from time to time. After covering the pot, he peeled off the black chestnut skin, leaving only the yellow meat. "Isn't it roasted pig's trotters?" Gu Lingqing's voice sounded. Baiyu chuckled. She understood what Gu Lingqing meant. She turned to look at Gu Lingqing and said, "All right, Mr. Gu, you're reliable. This is a piece of cake for me. Don't forget that when you knew me, I was holding a scalpel." Gu Lingqing stopped talking. but the speed at which he peeled the hedgehog's shell sped up. He murmured, "If I had known, I wouldn't have picked so many." Baya was once again amused by Gu Lingqing. He lowered his head and peeled the skin while saying, "Tomorrow you still have to go harvest with me. We need to store more. These are seasonal. After this season, there will be no more. Especially in winter, there will be less food, right?" Gu Lingqing looked at her back and softly replied, If possible, he could really spend the winter with her here. Anyway, as long as there was internet, they could video call each other. It was a rare opportunity for him to go back for an inspection. But what if she was pregnant? What if she was sick? Gu Lingqing took a deep breath. These things were too far away. He didn't want to think about them for the time being. He just wanted to cherish the present. After he was done, he took Baya's knife. "I'll row you peel." Baya stopped struggling and listened to him, peeling the chestnuts. Seeing that the water was boiling, she scooped out the pig trotters and washed the dirty things with clean water. After scooping out the dirty water in the pot, she put a little oil in the pot, increased the fire, and slightly stir-fried the pig trotters. The main thing was not to occupy the pot with the skin. Then she added cooking wine, soy sauce, ginger, sugar, and seasoning packets. Let it simmer in the pot for 2 hours. They would definitely be late for dinner today. Fortunately, they were already late for lunch. She scooped out the rice from the other pot, washed the pot, and filled it with water. She first boiled the ribs for the same purpose, to remove the dirt. When he was done, he came back to peel the chestnuts. "Are you tired? You've been busy since morning and haven't rested yet." Gu Lingqing felt sorry for her. "I'm not tired. I feel very fulfilled. It's good for me to sleep at night." "You know that I often have insomnia in the past," Baya said with a smile. "We won't go hunting tomorrow or dig wild vegetables in the morning. I'll ask someone to send some vegetables here. We can sleep late and have a good rest. We'll go out to hunt chestnuts in the afternoon. Then can I ask your people to bring more things here?" Baya asked. "Of course. What do you want to bring? Write it on a piece of paper. I'll ask someone to bring it here tomorrow." Baya made an okay gesture. Half an hour later, the kitchen was already very fragrant, which made people's appetite increase. It was easy to make the rib soup. She scooped out the ribs, cleaned them, and boiled them in the water again. Then she added ginger, cooking wine, and spices according to personal preference. However, Baya wanted to eat the fresh ones, just like the ones from 2 years ago. So she didn't add spices. When the ribs were soft and tender, she added matsutake mushrooms and cooked them together. When it was out of the pot, she only needed to add a little salt. She didn't even need to add MSG. It's delicious. It's as delicious as 2 years ago. Baya ate 2 bowls of rib soup and was very satisfied. Seeing that she was happy, Gu Lingqing was also in a good mood and ate 2 more bowls of rice. She looked at the red dots on his palm and held his hand worriedly. "What happened? I was in a hurry and got pricked. It's okay. I'll sleep for a while, and I'll be fine tomorrow." Gu Lingqing withdrew his hand and said indifferently. Baya felt guilty. He peeled the ribs so quickly because he wanted to help her. If she had agreed to let him do it, he wouldn't have been in such a hurry. "Gu Lingqing, I'll listen to everything you say in the future. I'll do whatever you want me to do. I won't be stubborn anymore. If I really don't want to, I'll express it to you. After we analyze the pros and cons, you'll still make the decision," Baya promised. Gu Lingqing chuckled. "I've tried for so many years, but I still couldn't change your stubborn temper. Look at how distressed you are after being pricked by the chestnut." "Do you want it?" Baya asked. "Yes, but I still hope that you can be yourself and be happy. Don't be unhappy. If you're happy, I'll be happy," Gu Lingqing said gently. She understood. It wasn't from the time when he was strong, but from the time when they saved the pregnant woman together. They had known each other for 5 years and experienced many things. Gu Lingqing seemed to be resolute and domineering, but most of the time he still gave in to her. Even if she made a mistake and he was angry, it was because he risked his life for her, not because of the mistake itself. Love was like a waltz. There were advances and retreats, so that it could be managed well. If the other party kept giving in one day, They would go to the edge of the cliff. I know you're right. I'm a little full. It's not good for my stomach to sleep like this. Can we go for a walk on the beach outside? Baya asked. It's more dangerous outside at night. Many felines have night vision, but we can't. They're much more agile at night compared to us. Gu Lingqing explained patiently. That makes sense. Gu Lingqing held her hand. After washing the dishes, I'll go for a walk with you on the rooftop. Baya smiled. Sounds good. You can tell me about your past. It's all killing, there's nothing much to tell. Gu Lingqing didn't want to talk about it, and her eyes dimmed. She noticed that she said the wrong thing. Gu Lingqing didn't want to remember, and she didn't want to be sad. Then I'll tell you about the interesting things I saw, she immediately corrected herself. Gu Lingqing smiled. Okay. After eating, they washed the dishes together. There were still a lot of unfinished food. The weather was cold, so it wouldn't go bad, so they put it in the cupboard. Before going to the rooftop, Gu Lingqing put on a coat for Baya, held her hand, and opened the door to the rooftop. The moon was very bright that night, and the rooftop was shining with a bright silver light. Although the sea breeze was cold, it was very comfortable when it blew on her face. She was happy and excited. She turned around, and with both hands on Gu Lingqing's chest, she looked at him with a burning gaze. The reflection of the moonlight was in her eyes. You're tuning in to the Echoes of the Heart YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.